Peace, family, peace. We are live now. Me and the red pill, blue pill's running a couple of minutes late. He'll be here any second, family, but we're gonna start the show.
Yes, we are.
What time is it? We a couple of minutes late, but we on time cosmically. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we right on time.
So much going on. Yo, Red, I gotta get you on a Patreon, brother, because I see some of the information you got out on the gram. And I need you to do some type of presentation for my Patreons, brother. It's like because we know what's going on with YouTube, man. But yeah, we need this.
Yeah. Line that up, my brother. I think we popped off the Patreon with In Too Deep.
In Too Deep, yes, we did.
Yeah, like in 2018.
That was a classic. That's a classic, bro.
Drake ran with my title. You seen the song In Too Deep?
Hey, I seen it, man.
Talk to your man. Yeah,
I seen it, man. The Champagne Poppy.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Champagne Poppy. We gotta wait for Blue to get here to talk about the whole Polaris Draco thing, because Blue talked about that over a decade ago.
That's
definitely.
But
we definitely could talk about it in other aspects. But before we get started, family, I want to welcome y'all back. Haven't been here in about a week, been taking care of some things, got some good things going on behind the scenes, staying busy as always, and with the family. That's numero uno, family. So it's good to be back here on the screen with y'all. Let me see. I didn't even see the comments, man. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat room.
Shout out to the Chiznat.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. We got
Chaddington.
We got the red and the blue. Yeah, we had the I see y'all talking about Sophia Stewart. You know, I seen the Matrix movies is coming out again, so I said I gotta talk to the red and the blue. You know what I'm saying? They're releasing the pills. You know,
naturally,
it only makes sense to talk to the red and the blue pill.
You did. You know what I'm saying? Naturally.
I wonder why they're releasing it at this time, family. That's something we gotta ask ourselves.
Timing is impeccable. I'm just saying, the timing of the trailer on the heels of 9/11. I mean, that shit is impeccable, especially with, the work that Blue Pill been putting in with his prophecies about this 20-year window. To be honest with you, the Matrix was, that was my eye opener. You feel me?
What year did that come out, right?
99. I remember it to the day.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. I remember it to the day. 99, my genius. And we were all geeked on Y2K.
Okay.
That was the mongering aspect of the day.
March 31st, 1999. You're right.
Facts. And then that's the same day that Nip died. Rising power to Nip. Shout out to Akibulan. He pointed that out 22 years ago, right? 22 years to the date. That's when Nip made his ascension. 22 years later, March 31st, 2000. No, 2019.
Right,
and whatnot.
Right.
And then in 99 we had the Matrix drop. So that was people's primer, and then 9/11 was the catalyst to where we at right now. I call that the catalyst to consciousness. It didn't make niggas woke, it made them conscious. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's facts.
It made them conscious. This COVID shit is making people woke, but 9/11 spawned generations of consciousness. So I don't want to run with the cloth. I'm gonna let Blue come in and add on. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, there's no holding back the cloth, brother. It's like a gift from God. You can't hold it back, brother. You can't.
Oh nah, definitely. You know what I'm talking about. But
that's your mic giving that feedback,
ain't it? You hear that?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
let me turn this down.
Come on, Red.
Can you hear my sound effects?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yes. Yeah, the sound effects.
Okay.
Yes, hear the sound effects. What's good with y'all in the chat? While Red take care of that, what's happening with y'all in the chat?
Somebody said, what happens if you take both pills? And nigga, that's the purple pill. What's wrong with you? To be honest with you, that's the key. That's the cheat code right there. It's not taking one, it's taking two of them. But anyway.
Indeed. Best movie ever. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say Matrix, the movie, was a documentary. It wasn't even a movie. That was a documentary on how reality is structured. I mean, that shit, the amount of science they put in that one film was just astounding. Yo, Red, remember back in the day, the Matrix books by Val Valerium? I think that's the name, Val Valerium or something like that.
Wait. Nah, his name is Zachariah Sitchin.
No, not the little. Zachariah had the little.
Val Valerian.
Azariah used to sell
The
these
big
books,
500-page one.
500-page books. Yeah, man.
And on the cover, it had the people with the cords attached to them to the mothership and whatnot. Right there.
Bro, I never got that, and I regret it to this day. I never got that package from Azariah.
Yeah, that's a collector's right there. I saw it floating on Amazon years ago, and they wanted a Birkin bag for that book. Yeah, it was going. It was definitely going.
Wow, that's something. Yo, y'all had Sophia Stewart on your show not too long ago, right?
Yes, shout out to Sophia Stewart. We were in Clubhouse. We were in Clubhouse with Mama Sophia. Shout out to my guy Sir Bay and the Grabber Gang. They had we were hosting a Clubhouse interview with her. I believe it was December. I think it was right after the conjunction. I gotta check the time on that. But she was definitely priming us for what we saw in the trailer. Everything that she said in that interview was dead on, and I'm sure Blue will be able to co-sign that. Everything that she said was dead on. And then prior to that, we brought her on KTL in 2020. And we just was, we
right. I remember that.
Right. We tapped in with her, and she had a lot to say then and whatnot. I just want to say for the family that's out there, if you've never heard Mama Sophia Stewart speak, you might have heard of her, but if you haven't heard her, drop some wisdom and whatnot, she has pearls of what she is, the oracle. I highly recommend that you go into the search engine on YouTube and just go ahead and dive in to the creator of not only the Matrix but the Terminator. We have amongst us one of the most premier Afrofuturists on the planet. Blue said it was January 2021 that we interviewed her. Fire. It was fire. I'm telling you, she bodied that. Yeah, she bodied that.
Yo. I gotta get rid of some fucking fool in the chat. Yeah, we getting rid of this fool in the chat right now.
Right.
Get rid of the bullshitters in the chat, the trolls and the bullshitters. We staying on a certain frequency on this channel, and that's what we doing. So we're gonna have a good time tonight, family. We're gonna have a good time. We're waiting for Blue. I see Blue in the chat, so I'm just waiting. Let me get to these ads, and then we'll continue the show. Let's get to these ads real quick, family.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple of people I gotta shout out. One being King Simon, one of the best when it comes to numerology in the world. Has helped me and my family for over a decade. Text that brother 347-496-1022. Family, one of the best, hands down. My brother King Simon. Aquarius Maximus is having a cardology mega class tomorrow, September 11th, from 9 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Go to the website, family. That sister is sharp. And I got something I want to say about her in a second. But the hat that I wear every show, the crown. This brother right here. Go hit up his Instagram at iSkateNY or his phone number. But what I want to say about the Queen, Aquarius Maximus.
Shout out to Aquarius Maximus.
Right before while the storm was hitting New York, Red.
Ida,
right? Ida.
Yes.
So I'm building with Aquarius Maximus on a live, and she's like, oh yeah, this is the season. Make sure you watch out for the areas that could get affected by water or whatever. And she's just talking about being in places that won't get floods. She was like, floods is going to be a major issue. No more than 60 seconds later, I turn to my left and I see water coming from my backyard door into my basement. So I'm like, oh, we got to wrap it up. I get off the phone with her.
Right.
The shit just start pouring in, bro. I couldn't even open up my back door. That got stuck. My whole basement. Yeah, the whole basement was flooded, bro. It was crazy. I spent the whole night cleaning up that night, bro.
Like a fishbowl.
Bro, I never
Yeah.
seen nothing like it in New York in my whole life, man.
And to be honest with you, the majority of the people who lost their lives that day, you know what I mean? They were majority caught in the basement.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
lot of
I was like, just think about it. You woke up and you might have saw rain outside your window that day, but never in your wildest dreams did you ever anticipate that you was going to be drowning that day. You know what I mean? So, and I think the incompetence is on New York City and the lackluster preparedness that they, they did not prepare their citizens for what was happening. You know what I mean?
But my
they
guy,
got caught with their pants down.
What if New York could not have anticipated it? You know what I'm saying?
Apparently they didn't.
We continuously have these conversations and we never put spirit in the mix. You know what I'm saying? We have attributed a lot of power to supernatural technology that the white man have, but we never be like, yo, spirit caught him off guard. Yo, this thing was moving in ways in which you can't explain. Yo, this shit started in the root of the country, right? It was called Ida, right? The Ida and the Pingala are the two energy circuits that go up the spine, right? And they meet at the ajna, which is the third eye, right? These are metaphysical principles to begin with. So by them calling it Ida, we only know of two Idas. We know Ida B. Wells.
That's right.
Right? And that even implies water. And Ida B. Wells is famous for speaking about the lynching in Mississippi and Louisiana, specifically.
Right.
Where there's two states that were most impacted by the hurricane initially, where it made entry. Remember, Hurricane Ida came through the Gulf at the bottom of what would be considered the coccyx if we want to look at the country like it's a person.
Right, the root.
It ended the root at the delta of the Mississippi River, and it made it go the opposite way.
It made the Mississippi go the opposite way. That's a fact. That's a fact. For all of my Bible thumpers out there, please pull up the passage and let us know.
Talk about the prophecy, right? Because they talk about prophecy when the Nile will flow the opposite way, and the Mississippi is the Nile over here in the Western Hemisphere. So this category 4, right, was so powerful. It touched down the same day as Katrina, so it twinned Katrina.
Right.
It twinned Katrina. It came in and it verged to the left. The Ida is what? The Ida is the left path or the left side of the human body, and it controls the right hemisphere of the brain, which is the feminine, which is the subconscious, right? It impacted, it came through the root, and it came all the way up to the crown in about 48 hours. Because, if we was looking at the Eastern Seaboard like it was a person, New York City is considered the crown chakra, right? Because it's the crown, it's the Empire State.
Yes.
What you gonna say? The Boston is the crown?
Not at all. It would be considered Empire State.
So this feminine energy makes way from the southernmost tip all the way up into the north in under 48 to 72 hours, and no one is saying, God damn, that might have been spirit.
Indeed.
At the same day as Katrina.
Hold on. You get one. You get one. You get one. And then hurricane.
I remember Sandy in 2012, right? I remember how Sandy caught the city off guard.
Sandy wasn't shit, man.
I'm saying
the buildup was crazy.
Like it was a big deal.
Yeah, the buildup was
retarded.
The buildup for Sandy was crazy.
Yeah,
it did some damage. Maybe
it did a little something. Yeah, everywhere on the shore. Regions, everywhere where the shore was at.
Far Rockaway, Coney Island, right? Shout out to my Coney Island family. People got displaced. They got washed up in Sandy.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But
because I was on the cleanup crew
compared to what I heard about what Ida did in a few hours.
That is a fact. Henceforth, why I said what I said earlier about, the lackluster response of these quote unquote meteorologists and the people that the public put so much faith in to be on top of the weather and things of that nature. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. I personally was affected by Katrina I was in Miami, and people don't realize, or I don't know if you had to be in Miami to know that Katrina made landfall in Miami before it went to Louisiana.
Yeah,
it hit Miami first. I was in the Venetian, for anybody that's familiar with the Miami area. I was on Biscayne Boulevard in the Venetian on the 15th floor, and the building was rocking. You know what I'm talking about? It was blowing street signs down the block and things like that nature. It was ferocious. And then 2 days later, it struck New Orleans. So yeah, it's and when you're in the middle of those storms, shit is severe, and it happens so fast. The Katrina hit Miami so fast. Like I said, on the news, they were talking about it was a Friday. They were like, yo, it's gonna touch down sometime on Saturday. We need to prepare and get ready. That shit hit right after he got off the TV. I promise you.
Yo, the shit, this Ida joint here in Blue Talk and You Talk. I went to the store before my show, and it was raining, but it wasn't raining. It was just like, a regular rainy day. So for the rain to be for it to come down that hard in that short amount of period of time, I don't know how that shit was humanly possible. Bro, there was cars floating in water on Saratoga on the corner.
Straight floating.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even make it to Rite Aid to get shit from my basement because the whole street you couldn't even walk through the street.
Damn.
Like cars was abandoned. People just left their cars abandoned. And this is all within 2-3 hours, the most of rainfall, bro. Like now that y'all talk about it, I don't know how to fucking rain that much in 3 hours. It wasn't like Sandy was the 24-hour hurricane watch. Nigga, this was 3 hours.
Right. And they said that it broke records, I believe, 3 inches. In the shortest amount of times ever since they've been reporting it.
The most amount of rain ever recorded in Central Park.
Damn.
Right. In Central Park, of all places.
Right.
So 3 inches. We have a tendency to not think that that's a big deal. But major storms, they be like, yo, it just, was 1.5 inches. And that's enough to cause, major situations in main cities. So if nothing else, this shows you that you live really in the matrix. Right? We live in a construct. We live in something that we believe is pretty much impervious to attack or natural disaster or any of those things. And it could be the furthest thing from the truth. If 3 inches of rain could upset and offset a city with $1 trillion security system set up, right? Then again, who's in control? All of this is coming on the cusp of this 20-year anniversary of 9/11, when you really realize that Bin Laden won. How about that?
Wow.
Interesting.
Let's talk about it. We here. Let's talk about it tonight.
Yeah, let's chop it up. You know what I'm talking about?
Somebody said the generators are selling like sea moss where they at.
I could imagine. Yeah, I could only imagine. Where them generator stocks at? What's the ticker?
Yeah. So think about this as well. Ida initially struck out on the 29th, right? That same day, right? Shout out to Keebalon. I know he's in the chat. That same day, there was supposed to be a solar storm on the hit because there was a solar flare that erupted off the sun, and they was running major articles about the possibility of a blackout, right? They were saying an internet-wide blackout. I've not heard the blackout conversation as much as I've heard it this year ever. Last year it was just a conspiracy theory, right? But now everybody's talking blackouts, right? And New York is in the throes of its 44th year anniversary from the blackouts from 1977, which was responsible for the technological jump that hip hop experienced for it to become what it becomes to this very day. All of that came out of the blackout in 1977. So now you got this situation where, is New Orleans still in the dark? Because they ain't talking about them no more. Does anybody know?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I was in Texas last weekend, and I was inquiring about the situation in New Orleans. There were a lot of people who were in Houston from New Orleans that got up out of there and whatnot, and they were saying that it's slowly being restored, the electricity and the lights and things of that nature slowly being restored, but it wasn't all the way back to where it, you know, where it was supposed to be. So somebody said that it's still blacked out.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat said Nola is still blacked out.
So,
that's crazy.
So the last time that we were on this program, Brother Rich, I had spoke about some stuff, you know, with Haiti. And I had the nerve, right?
The audacity.
A mitigated gall.
The mitigated gall to suggest the spirit might be involved in that, the white man and his $1 trillion technology. You know what I'm saying? Even though he can't get a raindrop over Lake Tahoe in places that he hold precious that he don't want to see in fire.
All them forest fires.
Yeah, all that stuff. But, you know, I had the audacity to suggest that maybe spirit has something to do with it. And I tell people all the time, I'll be like, well, if something that happened in Haiti, then just watch and see what's going to go on in New Orleans, because they are tethered to one another, right? And then lo and behold, goddamn it, you get this situation in New Orleans. And again, people still to this day refuse to have any conversation about spirit, but spirit got his hand in everything else other than what spirit's supposed to have his hand in, which is the goddamn elements. You know.
Right. They didn't give that to the white man at harp. They handed that over to him. You know. Everything is the boogeyman.
Blue, you still there? Did he get cut off?
Yeah, nah, he's there. He just put his phone on mute.
Oh, it's for the noise. Okay, all right, family. So yeah, listen, once again, family, we are live. We had almost 1,000 in the chat. Make sure you share this link. Make sure you thumbs up. Make sure you support. Tell the people your Cash App real quick, red and blue, while we continue to get things started.
Yes, indeed. The Cash App is $ Phil Moreland. And I do want to do a shameless plug. You know what I mean? Can I share the screen? Is that possible?
You should be able to.
All right. Let me just share this real quick. I got a little something going on. I just want the family to know about it. Mm-hmm. Whatnot. I've been getting a lot of emails, and I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to me as a result of the I'm
gonna let Red say what he say. We're gonna get to this question because I got something to say about this. Carlo S. All right, I see your screen now, Red. Go ahead, Red.
All right. So as a result of the whole Biden and the announcement that he made yesterday about
be careful about the bullshit, Red. You know,
right.
Yeah.
About the Jabberwocky, you know what I mean? What he said about the Jabberwocky yesterday and the 100 million Americans that may be affected. A lot of people have been reaching out about solutions and things of that nature because they have choices to make. So what I told my audience and what I'm going to tell this audience tonight is that I have a 24-hour sale. I'm putting a bundle together on pure solutions, workshops and lectures that we've done starting this year. All of them are about 6 hours each. We had Strive and Thrive 2021. That's all solution based. I have another one that's 100 income streams. And then the other lecture that I have, which doubles as a workshop, is the evolution will be digitized, where we get to the crypto, we get to the DeFi, decentralized finance. We talk about blockchain. We break down the coins. We break down altcoins. We break down DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, which are basically companies that can run autonomously without the help of a human being. And we talked about some other things. So for the family that's interested in partaking in this offer, it's not going to be on the table after 9/11. All right. It's on the table for today. So it's a 24-hour fire sale. Hit the Cash App. It's $99 for all three. You can hit up the Cash App, or you can hit the email if you want to get either one or two or whatnot. But yeah, you know, that's what we have available. So, you know, I'm talking about, just put that out there.
All right. Yes. I think Red. We lost. I mean, not Red. We lost Blue for a second, so I'm assuming he's getting ready to set up in the crib. So Blue will be back shortly. Carlo S. I want to get to this real quick, Red. We wasn't even going in the Q&A segment, but the thing about our magic. Wow, Red. I don't know. This is personal, Red. I don't know. I guess everybody's magic is personal to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could imagine, Red, when you look at it on a larger scope of things, I could imagine, I don't know how many incarnations you had in this realm. I don't know how many incarnations I knew you or you knew me,
right.
But it's dope to be in this position, Red, in 2021, seeing everything that's going on in the world and still being able to be one of the key components when it comes to disseminating this level of information to a group of melanated beings who have nowhere else to go for this information, bro. Not the church, not the schools, not the organizations, not the establishment, not anywhere, bro. But we provide a place for them to tap in to this type of spirit. Motherfuckers got burned at the stake for this. Yo, you know how much our ancestors went through to preserve this level of science and what they call magic for us, just for us to have the little bit of crumbs that we have today. So many sacrifice, so much for us just to have the crumbs, Red.
Inquisitions, Crusades, the Reconquista, heads were chopped off, bodies were burnt.
And I know you know the history of all of that. Give us a little history, Red, of how much our magic has been suppressed before we even answer that, and maybe Blue will come in time. But the extent they went for us to even think that we can't do this or we can't do that, or that sounds crazy. Talk to me about the history, because I know you good at that, my brother.
Well, one of the most egregious acts of against atrocities against humankind would be considered to be the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition to be exact, that took place in the Iberian Peninsula, not just Spain, but it went all the way into Portugal, it went into France, but mainly in the areas, the Roman Catholic controlled areas of the Kingdom of Castile and Aragon and whatnot, which is modern day Portugal and Spain. So the Jesuits, right, under Thomas Aquina and whatnot, they came together by proxy of the church. They were given the permission, and keep in mind the Jesuits are the military arm of the church. And they began a campaign where they began to prosecute all Muslims and Jews of that time, Sephardic Jews who were melanated and whatnot, and some of them were amalgamated. And what they were doing was they were prohibiting these Muslims to practice Sufism. They were prohibiting them to practice mysticism. They were prohibiting them from practicing the things that basically were keeping them in power throughout this struggle that they had in Europe against these Europeans and whatnot. And it was a very, if you Google torture tools of the Inquisition, you would understand what it is that was happening to our people. Google Iron Maiden and Google the pear, right? The pear, like you eat a pear, and put pear and Inquisition. It was a pear-shaped device that had spikes inside of it, and they put it around the scrotum. Well, first they heated it, and then they would close it around your scrotum and whatnot. So they were perfecting the tools of torture. Later on down the line, we saw that reappear when they had this war on Islam, which George W. Bush called the New Crusades, over when they began to waterboard the quote unquote Taliban and Al Qaeda and the captives that they had in Guantanamo Bay and Gitmo, right? Some of the same people who are currently now in leadership positions in Afghanistan, right? Who were parading around the streets of Kabul and Afghanistan in U.S. Armed services vehicles and things of that nature with weaponry from the U.S. government, billions upon billions of dollars of it. So we were being persecuted. Anybody who was housing us were being persecuted. The European women who were involved with Moors romantically, they were being burnt at the stake. They were calling them witches and things of that nature. Brothers and sisters who were astrologers, diviners, tarot card readers and things of that nature. They were being persecuted, they were being tortured, they were being burnt at the stakes, and they were being forced to convert. And they called those people the conversos, the moriscos, the little Moors, and things of that nature. So you have people like Muhammad Ibn, he would turn into Alfonso, or he would be given an anglicized name. That's how in history, when we read about these people, we think we're reading about white Europeans, or Caucasian Europeans, when in reality, some of these people that we're reading about that we think are Europeans are nothing but Muslims or Africans who have anglicized names, because they were converted under stress and duress of the sword. So heads were rolling, they were putting heads on pikes for miles and whatnot. They were torturing people, they were quartering people. What is quartering? Quartering is when they cut you into 4 pieces and whatnot. They would quarter the people, they would cut your head off, they would cut your body in half, they would chop the legs and whatnot. That's why later on, during the lynchings of this occult organization called the Ku Klux Klan, you saw that same type of ritual take place. And, they were basically sacrificing human bodies for whatever demiurge or whatever egregor or whatever deity that they were feeding. Okay.
Go
ahead,
Ray.
So whatever they were summoning, whatever entity they were summoning, whatever demiurge that they were, tapping into to help them with the war against these mystical Moors, this entity and these deities have continued to basically required human blood, children sacrifices, bloodletting, and things of that nature in order for them to stay in the type of position that they're in. Henceforth, when they came into the New World, you see complete massacres and genocides and things of that nature. They were even taking people back on the ships to Europe in order to sacrifice them, in the church.
Real quick, Red, Blue, before we continue, I seen a couple people comment. What was the Salem witches trial about? What was all that about? Because they asked in the chat.
Similar, you have these Europeans who were tapping into this, they were tapping into mysticism, they were tapping into the what's that with the Irish that they tap into?
Wicca.
Not just the Wicca, the
Celtics, what?
The Celtic, Celtics and things of that nature.
That's the Druids. That's
Druid magic.
Have you?
Right.
The church didn't want any competition at that particular time. Remember, those were the remnants. The people that still had what was considered "quote unquote" magic. Right. Those were the remnants of Europeans coming into contact with the Moors.
And with the Twas,
still having whatever's considered, whatever ends with the word mancy. You know what I'm saying? When Moors was teaching, they was teaching necromancy and
cartomancy, palmancy.
All of this different mancy. They wanted to eradicate, any evidence of that.
Right. Anyone that was questioning the authority of the church, remember they were getting washed up in debates by Moorish scholars, and they were being washed up. The fallacies of the Roman Catholic Church were being exposed by Moorish scholars and things of that nature. So they began to
put it in
burning.
Context, right? So what we see today would be them saying, "Yo, the anti-jabbers, witches, nigga." Right.
Yeah, that's the Inquisition.
Yeah.
Right. The Inquisition was, if you see something, say something. The same thing that they implemented post 9/11 when they implemented their new Crusades in New York. They began to prime the citizens of America, not just in New York, but America, to begin to see something and say something. If you see somebody praying, if you see a brother and he's a crypto Muslim, crypto meaning a hidden Muslim, where he's basically on the surface, he's portraying to be a Catholic or a Christian, but behind closed doors, he's with that Islam shit, you know what I mean, or that Islam shit. This is who the people, if the family could remember, so much has happened. If you could bring your mind back to 20 years, there was a super duper fear. The fear was blanketing right? If you were walking around with the long Muslim beard, you was a op.
Facts.
You know, so when they speak about crusades, like when George Bush invoked that, he's speaking, it's almost like a dog whistle. He's speaking to people, the Europeans who study this stuff. They understand the language that's being used. You know, they're not lost. The only people that may be lost is those who don't know. You know what I mean? You know, the profane, those who don't have the information, you know, so yeah, and what they were doing also in the Inquisition, along with what they were doing during the quote unquote era of lynching, is that they were taking landowners, right? Very wealthy landowners and business owners, and they were murdering them for their estates and for their quote unquote businesses. It was a takeover. So when you research the lynchings that took place in South, those were very you know, those were landowners. You know how people say that their great grandfathers had. Yes, right. Business owners and landowners by poor Europeans who came over here from Eastern Europe and whatnot, who were tattered. They didn't have anything. They were indentured. So, you know, the come up was, you know, if you put in this work, right? White Anglo-Saxon Protestants and whatnot that were over here, the ones who kind of had, you know, shit running and whatnot, they were telling these other subgroups and whatnot, if you put in this work, then you'll be accepted amongst us. You could sit with us. So it played out with the Irish, the Italians, and then the small hats and whatnot. The small hats cut their teeth through Hollywood and the depiction of an America that never existed when they painted this illusion of the white picket fence and whatnot. Clark Gable, you know, all of that shit that they were selling us and whatnot. That was a false depiction of you know, and keep in mind they held up the Italian gangster, right? They put him on a pedestal, and then they hid the Jewish gangster. They did not want you to know about that. You know what I mean? They completely left him out of the movies and whatnot. They gave you a little Meyer Lansky here and there, but they didn't talk about the extent of how deep they went and whatnot. And then, of course, you see what they did to the melanated people, blackface, you know, just the minstrel, you know what I'm talking about? All of that shit. You know what I mean? And that also extends to the music and whatnot, because they were in control of the vaudevilles, the Nickelodeons, and things of that nature. And they came, you know, they were behind race music. They were behind the minstrel. They were behind Jim Crow. All of that is music. You know what I'm talking about? All of that is entertainment, my niggas. You feel me? So they were taking away, they were destroying our image and whatnot on a global scale. That was being broadcasted around the world. Henceforth, when Louis Armstrong and the jazz musicians and Josephine Baker and them went to Europe and whatnot, they shut that shit down because these people, you know, were heralding the return of people, the troubadours and the people who they have a stark memory of, who were already over there putting in work. So when they seen us come from America and we were doing our thing, you know, they wasn't really surprised. They was like, that's the return of the Moors. You know what I mean? But based on how we were being depicted through film and whatnot, you know, the rest of the world was looking like, damn, you know, these are some savages.
Man, I told y'all, Red know how to deliver that history lesson on y'all asses, man. That Moorish history lesson, man.
You really do.
Yeah. I haven't seen many do it like Red. I always
documentary so he could turn around and do a museum. What you waiting on, bro?
Hey, that's the idea right there.
So black and Moorish to me.
That's the idea right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the idea right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on the Black Witches of Salem. People should look into that.
Right.
Black Mary and Tituba, you know what I'm saying? And all of the history that you will be able to extract, you know, the people who were herbalists were witches,
right.
You know.
Right. The herbalists were the healers.
Yeah, anything natural, right?
Roots.
Anything that
doctors.
came from nature. Remember, you know, you might want to research what the word pagan even means. These were people that were working with the earth. You know what I'm saying? These were people that were close to the earth. They was tuned in, tapped in, as they say today. It would be the woke folk. You feel me? So
somebody said the hoodoo. Yeah, that backwoods shit, the hoodoo. You know, henceforth in places like Jamaica, while the Maroons had to do what they do and remove themselves and things like that. You know, Nanny of the Maroons and whatnot, and in Haiti and other places where our people were very, you know, tapped into the elements. They were very mystic and whatnot. But those women were being targeted for quote unquote, you know, for lynchings. Henceforth, while Santeria and other African traditional systems, they are crypto Christians, right? They are crypto Christians on the surface. They like praise Jesus. They got the saints and everything. And behind closed doors, they're African. So they're crypto Africans. They have to hide who they are because they were being persecuted, and they're still being persecuted
to this day. To this day.
Yeah, talk black. Yeah, I'm talking about.
Fact.
They are. No, they are.
Hey, let's what's up with this movie, y'all? Matrix Resurrection.
Trash.
Straight trash. Damn.
Trash. And I have to say that I have to be impervious like that because, you know, I'm standing strong. I have to be the front line for Mama Sophia. She's been done wrong, right? She sent us a copy of the Matrix 4 that she wrote. She has a version of the Matrix 4, and it ain't nothing like that trailer that you saw. Let's be very clear, okay?
Yeah.
Let's be very clear. So I can't, against the wishes of Mama, I cannot come up here and cheerlead or champion any type of infringement that I'm seeing that they are doing upon her intellectual property. That is not theirs. The Wachowski sisters and whatnot, who used to be the brothers, that's not theirs.
Oh, hold up. They trans or some shit?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Hold up. They call themselves the Wachowski sisters now?
Facts.
Oh, bro. Oh my God. I didn't know that. Yeah, bro. I'll be out of this shit. I'm telling you. Oh my God.
But yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Narrative, you know what I'm saying? So
that's part of the narrative.
When was this? When this happened?
As soon as she got on their ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, over these 20 years, you know, gradually.
Wow.
One of them popped out first, just like the towers, and the other one followed. So,
right.
You know, again, with all due respect to Mama Sophia, though, that's definitely something that we're not championing. You know, I seen a lot of blue pills in the trailer, but
you got hype.
Yeah, even that, you know, I think that everything has its respective run, if you will.
Right. This is my question, and this is just based off of the trailer. You know, KT, the arch degree, he taught me how to look at trailers and to dissect them, you know, meticulously. It's a 20-year, 22-year window from the original classic, right? Which was Matrix 1, 99. How is it that the trailer for the fourth one, right? Not the third, the trailer for the second, because I went and rewatched the second and the third trailers. How the hell is it that the fourth one is trying to look just like the first one? What are they trying to pull off?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we doing a Matrix Redux?
We doing a reboot? What are we doing?
Yeah, because she was telling me something about the name initially. She was like, she was like, watch them come out with the title. She was like, they can't use the name, right? It's copyright infringement.
Yes, and I have to also add on, sorry, Blue, that the reason, thank you, Darrow, and Mama Sophia also told us this, that the reason for the trans, and this is for any of you niggas with court cases, the reason for the trans move was to avoid jail time.
Oh,
so I don't know how that shit go with the politics. But if Philip Moreland is guilty of a crime and I show up as Phyllis Moreland, I'm like, I don't know that nigga. I'm identifying as Phyllis. And then maybe I'm not sure how that shit work, but either it's the lawsuit or something criminal. But she was like, they tucked their Peter to avoid the smoke.
Oh, my lady reminded me about Bruce Jenner. Right, remember Bruce Jenner had that court case coming for that vehicular homicide.
Right, he
switched up. Yeah, he switched up like Caitlyn on you niggas. And I'm figuring, we might be looking at the same thing. You
right.
feel me?
She was like they ducking it. Yeah, she was like they ducking and dodging when they were in court and they call out the name that's on the docket. They don't answer it. They don't identify. All of that slickness.
They on that Morris shit, right?
Yeah, and they on a dirty Morris.
Dirty Moors.
Dirty Wachowskis.
Oh man, yeah, this is crazy. Wow, I didn't even know all of that. All right, so nobody likes the trailer.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
John Wick is in the trailer. Okay, it's not Neo. John Wick showed up without his dog. John Wick is in the trailer hollering at an old looking in Trinity. And then Morpheus looks younger and Trinity looked like she aged about 30 years. You know what I'm talking about? And she died in the last Matrix. Right? And they got what's your boy Doogie Bussy Howard? What's his name? Neil who? Doogie Howser is in it. Like, what are we doing? And it's a carbon, it's almost like a facsimile of the original trailer.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, people who's like the trailer was epic, they was born in 2000. No disrespect. It's a lot of youngins out here. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas raised my antenna when y'all was like, I wasn't even alive when the towers fell. I was like, yeah, we gotta approach this shit differently. You niggas are different. I can't even fathom that. But anyway, the trailer, like let's use our brains, right? We're talking about 1999 when the graphics of the 1999 trailer and movie popped out. It was cutting edge because it was 1999, right? So if you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar franchise, this is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. You mean to tell me that you niggas they didn't step the graphics up in 22 years? I didn't see nothing I didn't see no graphics that had me like, oh shit, they going in. No, my friend. They are chopping, they're trying to make up for money that was lost. Right? They're trying to make up for money that was lost. They're out here butchering a quote unquote classic. You know what I'm talking about? And they are they're automatically in the wrong spot because they are out here stealing intellectual property that belongs to Sophia Stewart. It's the same thing with the people who running this Terminator shit into the ground. Nothing could compare to Terminator 1. She also wrote that, by the way. You know what I'm talking about? She wrote that. So now they're trying to make all of these different versions of the Matrix, of Terminator, and that shit is whack. And they're doing the same thing with the Matrix. Lawrence Fishburne, he's not on board. They brought my dude Yaya in there. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? If we play the trailer, will you get flagged for it? I played it on my show. I didn't get the copyright thing yet.
I can't play it on my channel. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's monetized and all types of crazy shit is gonna happen.
Okay. Yeah, my shit not monetized. I could do.
Remember, they had already merged the John Wick Matrix theme because originally they was both supposed to come out May 21st,
right,
2021,
right.
On Biggie birthday. Remember, we was like, oh shit, they got John Wick and the Matrix coming out on BIG birthday.
Yes. Indeed.
44 out.
And for the record, I like the acting of the brother Yaya. He played Dr. Manhattan on the Watchmen series on HBO. You know what I'm talking about? He was Calvin and he plays Candyman. And he has other roles and whatnot. He was an Aquaman. He's on the come. I met him too in Harlem. He's on his come up and whatnot. He's doing what he has to do. But when you get the title of Morpheus, it's like, bro, you're not Morpheus. Like, no disrespect. Even if there's a young Morpheus, give us some CGI, my niggas. Like, no, do not. Morpheus is like integral to the whole series. So, it's gonna be on HBO Max. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna go ahead and do my free trial.
They butchering another classic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen Candyman the other day. I'm disturbed.
Oh, what happened? Don't do it. Damn, Gina.
Think about the youth, right?
Right.
Think about their appreciation factor, and think about how the adults right, really don't give a shit about them, right? So they're not gonna give them no classic that supersedes the original. They're giving them trash. They're giving them fast food. They're giving them Popeye chicken. You know what I'm saying?
They giving them. Hold on, they giving them Impossible chicken.
No substance. Like
wait, they giving them Impossible chicken, my nigga. Soylent Green chicken out this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? They giving them Impossible burgers.
Yeah, they not putting on for them. You know, they're not bringing nothing to the table. This paradigm shifting. You feel me?
This operation dumbed down.
Everything that they have for them, they've already given to them. And right now, we just it's the program is underway. Right? They like, let's get these niggas to Singularity, get them out of the way. We've done with them everything that we're gonna do. They already signed a deal along yesterday. You want to talk about that?
It's like the way. First of all, let me just say this: they ruined another classic early this year. Coming to America. That was one of my favorite movies of all time that I've ever seen, and the shit they came out with this year or last year was absolutely horrible. But and there was another point I was about to make, and I forgot, man. Shit, I completely forgot the point I was about to make.
Yeah, they butchered Coming to America.
They messed it up. They messed it up.
No,
real bad.
It's one of those things like, fam, you didn't even have to do the sequel if that's what y'all were finna do. Like, you could have left this shit alone and let us reminisce. Y'all out here trying to make over House Party again. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all butchered fucking 21 Dumb Street. Like, there's a lot of misses that they have. I don't trust no reboot ever. So I feel bad for the younger generation that keep getting fed. You see the video where they showing how the pigs eat shit, plastic and everything?
I've seen it from you on your Instagram. That's sad. That's crazy.
They're feeding them slop. It's a dumbing down agenda.
Listen, family, let me just say this real quick, Red. For anybody who still eats pork, and I know a lot of y'all watch the channel still eat pork, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, there's something wrong, but there's nothing wrong at the same time. That's the dichotomy of life. But what I'm trying to tell you is a lot of the rationalization of eating pork and all this crazy shit is my parents and grandparents ate it and nothing happened to them. The pig that your grandmama ate, as nasty as it may have been, is not as nasty as the pig that you're eating today.
Right.
Woo, the pig has gotten piggier.
Yeah, it had that pig. Your nana pig had nasty standards. You know,
he had standard nasty.
You know
what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the shit the pig
different pig all together.
It's a different pig.
This variant. This
pig is thotting. Yeah, this pig is a thottis. This one right here.
No, this beyond thotting.
Yeah.
This nigga, he got 8th generation PTSD. Yeah, this is with his epigenetics is twisted. You don't want to do this.
Yeah, man, this pig, it's a different pig, family. So don't use that excuse. I understand it, and your grandparents is all right, and they live and they 95. I get that. But listen, man, what they feeding us now, what they doing to these animals now is beyond imaginable.
They foul.
They extremely foul.
And I was just in Texas. I went to 8 barbecues. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. You had some turkey burgers?
Pig is strong.
Some turkey burgers?
I had some fish. You know what I'm talking about.
All right.
You know. But it's strong out here, man. You know.
Yo, shout out to Steak. Y'all. There's a fish spot in Jersey, Steak and Take.
Steak and Take.
Yeah. You ever heard it? You know about them, Blue?
What state? What part of Jersey?
I don't know them.
They Muslim. Remember back in the day, Elijah had all them stores.
Oh,
they had the Steak and Take.
Okay,
he had the Supreme Fish. I don't know. Steak and Take.
Well, Steak and Take is like an offshoot of the Supreme Fish, and they Muslim, and they got some ingredients where it's the greatest fish I ever ate.
Yeah,
Steak and Take in Jersey, hands down. From brothers and sisters, they got a food truck. It's a food truck in Jersey. It's called Steak and Take. Y'all can check them out.
What part of Jersey we talking about?
Newark. Ghetto as fuck. Yeah. You go out there, there's like dust heads. What's that shit they be on now? The cake, what's it called?
K2.
K2 heads. Them motherfuckers be out there.
Zombies.
Listen, the fish.
Yeah.
Fire.
Ignore the zombies. That fish,
Catfish, dog.
What we gonna do about the
Somebody,
KD comment?
somebody,
bust the left.
yeah, somebody in the chat had also. Somebody in the chat also mentioned that when the Inquisition and when they were converting the conversos, the moriscos and whatnot, they would slide a pork plate and you know what I mean? That was your way to, you know, go ahead, my nigga, take them pig ears and knock them down and whatnot. So they were desecrating people's religious stances and whatnot by forcing the pig on them. But yeah, yeah.
And we, you know, and the point of me telling you to go into the history, Red and Blue, is to say you wonder why it's so difficult to bring forth information like we're bringing forth now, without people calling it pseudo and all the other names they call it. Listen, we've been force-fed religion continuously. So when they get this level of information, it's like, yo, these niggas is, you know, they worship the devil. Something wrong with them. Something off about them. And then that's when they call you the Hoteps. And now you already know from there, man. So
I have a feeling that, and I'm not attempting to paint anybody with a generalization brush, nor do I want to, you know, because I'm not going to play that dirty game that the vax people are playing. But in a sense, it seems like people who would eat basically anything, or people who don't have that type of discipline when it comes to their diet, seems to be the first ones who don't have discipline when it comes to what's being put inside of their body by way of the Jabbington. You know what I'm talking about?
But all right, so here's my thing, right? If you're running a simulation, right? Let's say you put in all of this in the computer and you're running a simulation to see how successful this campaign might be. Okay. These are the things as social scientists that you're always going to be factoring in. If you say only 2.7% of the U.S. population is considered what they deem to be healthy. Now, these statistics came out in 2019, 2.7%.
That's it? That's it?
100%.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 2.7%.
Shit.
Right? Less than 3% of the population is deemed what they consider to be quote unquote healthy. If this country is the leading candidates in obesity, if they're the leading candidates in pre-existing conditions such as heart disease, when I went sort of cardiovascular situation, then you would get a feedback from whatever simulation that you run in to say, oh my nigga, no, this is the population that this particular program will work on, bar none.
Right.
I mean, think about this. Like, somebody put a post up the other day and they said, or it was today I seen it, 2.1 billion people in China, right, got the Jabbington already.
Right.
And I'm like, well, how would you ever know what the descent in China looked like? That's a communist regime. The people, you know, by proxy,
they can say what they want to say.
No, not only they can say what they want to say, I'm saying categorically, you think that those people are primed to go along and do anything that their government say.
Right.
Because they're a communist regime, right?
Right.
How else you gonna wiggle out of that? Right? But you have a country, again, that is 45 minutes away, right, from a 20-year anniversary of us going around the world fighting to defend democracy. I mean, just think about the irony of this, right? How this takes place.
Right.
Going around the world for 20 years fighting to restore democracy, because democracy was allegedly damaged on 9/11. Not so much the U.S. in their standing. They said, look, they attacked democracy. This is how they were able to get a allied congregation together to go around, because they didn't do it by the U.S. alone, right? They got allied forces and went and attacked terrorism any way that they found it around the globe to protect democracy. And democracy is what? Giving you the right to decide, giving you the right and the freedom to have a particular voice, giving you the right to vote freely in an election to decide, you know what I'm saying, who your quote unquote, for lack of a better term, who your leader is, right? So all of these things, all of these tenets is what people have sacrificed their lives for in this country to defend, right? Only for people to sit there captively and allow Sleepy Joe to tell them, bump all that, right?
Well, our
Not only did
patience is
we lose
wearing
this
thin.
war, right? Not only did we lose this war to some people, just pretty much, coming out of caves, if you will,
And they not wearing no mask.
with no mask, right? Not only does this multi-trillion dollar conglomerate, the biggest military force on the planet, not only is this succumb to the graveyard of empires in Afghanistan, but now they just taking the mask all the way off and the fangs is coming all the way out. And they're like, look, this is a dictatorship. You know what I'm saying? This old ass motherfucker. I mean, it's funny, but it's sad at the same time. Because it's no sadder than the fact that George Bush got 9/11 over on y'all. Then now Joe Biden is here talking about, mandatory vaccines and what have you.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Blue, you got it. Yeah.
Hey.
My bad. Damn, see?
I know you don't eat pork, but learn some pig Latin. I know you don't eat pork, but learn some pig Latin, my friend.
Yeah, which negatively impacts 68% of the workforce, they say, of the government workforce are melanated people. 68%. Right.
That's the whole DC is federal employees.
Right?
Damn near.
We're talking about the entire DMV area of federal employees. And during 9/11, what was the slogan? You either with us or you against us.
Facts.
Right? This is how George Bush used psychology to get everybody on board. And like you said, they implemented snitch programs. See something, say something, even if it's in your own family. You feel me?
Right.
Get down, lay down. You either with us or against us. Right?
Fact.
He might as well put the gat out yesterday. You feel me? He might as well back the thing out and was like, yo, we running down. Get down and lay down.
Yeah, we drilling.
Like, well, goddamn. That's how you gonna handle your people? So again, the backdrop is designed to be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Symbolically, it's all there. You got the natural disaster backdrops. You feel me? You got the Matrix as a backdrop. You got this 20-year shadow dealing with 9/11 as a backdrop. You feel me? And here we go. Right? Now, it's based on the discernment of the people. What are the people making of what it is that they're looking at, of this sloppy production that they're putting in front of you? Some people are still jumping headfirst for it. And other people have drawn a line in the sand, but they gotta make real life decisions right now. Real life decisions. You know what I'm saying? And is there enough conversations taking place in the community that entail those real life decisions, especially communities such as ours that are telling people to have alternative insights, right? To exercise their own free will. Okay, where do you go from here?
I've perused through this community in the last few months, and to be honest with you, I would say about 3% of the channels or the platforms are addressing issues, dealing with the solution base, not the fear mongering, because we could all just sit around and read from the Associated Press, like, not the fear mongering, not the chatty pattying, but the solutions. You know what I mean? And not just talking about it, but showing people, no, look, this is a community right here. They off the grid, and this is what they about. If you want to get in touch with them, this is what they require. These are some people over here on the islands. These are some people over here on the continent. These are some, you know what I mean? That bridge has not even been built by the collective as of yet. And we're in the 23rd hour and with 30 minutes in.
So yeah, so to the family that has you know, government jobs or state jobs, because this is a trickling effect, right? It's a top-down effect. It's almost nowhere where it's not gonna hit. Y'all can scratch that. Okay, because this is about time. It's like they showed you in Loki. It's about time, right? They like, nigga, we got the time. Do you?
Yeah, we got time for you.
Sans any natural disaster, like an asteroid or something, my niggas. They like, yeah, we gonna be here. We got the time. What's up? What your resistance gonna look like in 2025? We got the time. Y'all ain't put a seed in the ground yet.
But let's use the analogy of Zion in the Matrix, Blue, right? So in the Matrix, the original Matrix movie, Zion were the places that the unvaxxed were at, right? Zion were the place, that's where people who didn't get the Jabberwocky were going, right? Because they resisted, they were the resistance.
I understand, yeah.
Right? So the question has to be asked, you know, where is the modern day Zion? Because we know where the Matrix is.
That part, right? So again, yeah, the irony of it, you know, we're speaking about something that we all participated in our past, but it is a story or narrative about our present and our soon to be future, right? How did the resistance form? Shit, who's John O'Connor in this narrative, in this script? What is Skynet? We got the answer to a lot of these things. But like the brother said, you know, where does Zion exist? So the coalescing of these coalitions, all of that is taking place right now in real time. So that's, you know, it's not so far-fetched why they might be redoing the Matrix 1. They probably need to do Terminator 1 over again for people to understand what really took place. What did they say? That on D-Day, right? I think D-Day in Terminator was August 29th.
Yes.
Right? That was D-Day in Terminator. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The day the Skynet went on. You know? So it's like, again, we there's a lot going on. Not only in the community, again, the community is a micro to the macro. There's a lot going on in the world. Same way there's a lot going on in the cosmos. You feel me? But, you know.
Well, Blue, speaking of the cosmos, Blue, you keep, for over a decade now, you have been telling us about this Polaris versus Draco cosmic thing and how that correlates to Kanye and Drake.
Yes.
And a lot of people, it's like this nigga's talking about rappers and cosmos in the same sentence. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. This is a person's mind. This is an intellectual's mind who can't relate two rappers to the cosmos because rappers seem so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Why would you even have a sentence dealing with the cosmos and what's going on with rappers?
I would posit to the intellectual. I would say, you know, last week there was a spike in COVID deaths. You know, last week it was the last flight out of Kabul. You know, last week, you know what I'm saying? There was a major hurricane that came up the East Shore. But I'd be like, my nigga, what was everybody talking about last week? Huh? Thunder. Right? They was talking about Donda versus Certified Lover Boy.
Too sexy for my girl.
Okay.
For the jab.
So I would posit to that intellectual that the mind is all and everything is mental. And whoever controls the nigger mind, which is the most chaotic place in the fucking universe, right? That person controls the narrative because that chaotic mind, that mind of chaos where things are either being built or destroyed in real time. And I would also posit to intellectual that if we are created of stardust, right? Then every nigga is a star, but some niggas is constellations, okay? So when you talk about an individual like a Kanye who's responsible for moving and molding a multiplicity of generations, he don't just cater to generation Y, X, or Z. Millennials is pumping with him. Baby boomers is pumping with him. You know what I'm saying? The whole population. Hence the fact that he is such a captivating, trending topic that his entertainment can stop all of the fuckery, all of the conversation about real shit, quote unquote, that's going on in the world. Niggas want to know what the album hitting for. Like, is it coming or not? That's people's salvation. Right? And again, he carries a lot of energy in him, in his presence, in his demonstrations, back based on the fact that he is tied in so intricately to a number of tropes that we see right now. 2005 was Katrina, right? He's synonymous, he's tethered to Katrina, right? Yep. We saw the stats about the White Sox playing at the same time that the what else was going on? If there was a hurricane in New Orleans, what else was going on?
White Sox #1.
Yeah, we already said that. What else? Right? Some other shit, goddammit. He's tied into the Twin Tower trope, right? Because he had the Twin Tower showdown with 50 Cent. 50 Cent is back in the news, just like Kanye is, right? This nigga's not rapping no more. He's trolling online with dead actors, and he's putting out some good TV, right? But this nigga's out of the game, okay? Kanye's still in the game, and now he is, you know, battling or up against, you feel me, an artist who also we can look at as a constellation based on the fact of how many people are tied into this person's vibration, his style. When he came into the game, when he changed the game, you feel me? He changed
Facts.
the game.
Facts.
So can these two magnanimous figures, right, with their egos thoroughly entrenched in the fact that both of them are insecure about being underneath Hova,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Both of them is wrestling for the nuts of their daddy, right? They want to be accepted by their big brother and told that it's going to be all right. Or for the nigga to come out and hand the baton over, but a baton that he had to fight his nemesis for during a 9/11 Twin Tower ritual. You understand? And that individual is in motion right now. He's in play.
With the album of the year.
The album of the year with a doppelganger named Little Nas X that's out here trolling the entire world as well. You feel me? So all of these tropes, all of these connections coalescing and, you know, somehow, some way, mysteriously find a way to manifest themselves right on time 20 years later, right? I did the lecture in 2010, granted, where I said that this was going to be what it was going to be. Drake didn't even drop an album yet, and we was putting out this prophecy. So to see it come to this point on time, almost to the day, yeah, that's some profound shit. Shout out to my brother Kibalon. You know, this book, I ain't got to keep telling y'all. Next level. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand people's inability to look through things through a metaphysical lens or a cosmic lens. You know what I'm saying? We're taught to think so basic. And the conversation that people are having around these two individuals is just corny. It's just basic. It's just, oh, well, I like that. Well, let's go for song for all this retardedness. It's like, bro, what's the larger narrative at play here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These niggas cannot get outside of their ego. They can't get out of their own way long enough to understand that there's real shit going on in the world right now. And they got everybody transfixed. You know what I'm saying? In they Mandingo fight. Everybody's existing they crotch somewhere, watching these niggas have a pissing contest. It's like, bro, there's a lot of, it's bad enough you don't address none of this stuff in your content, in your music, right? But you are dominating the airwaves, dragging the whole world with you. Like, y'all niggas just need to shoot the 5 and get it over with. But it's a cosmic narrative. It's Draco, you know, being juxtaposed by Polaris, or what we call Ursa Minor, the little bear, which Kanye represents.
When you study history, is it the same? You see how in our time, whether it's Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Jay-Z, whoever, the musicians of the world have an enormous power on the globe, the people, the collective consciousness. Has it always been like that? When we talk about ancient Egypt, Sumeria, all these ancient civilizations, have the musicians have always been as powerful as they are today?
I would think so. I would think that various forms of musician always maintain power. And I would look at that and look at the story of what they talk about with Lucifer. And I would
Okay.
think that that's evidence of it, because he was the prince of the air, and he was the angel over music.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had such an integral role as being the right hand to the Most High,
Mm-hmm.
right, by him getting music, and then when you look at the Masonic 7 steps, the liberal arts, right? Let me just pull it up right now, right? You see what position music has all the way at the top. It's either number 1 or number 2, right?
Mm.
So yeah, with that, I would say, yeah, I would believe that, you know, music has always held. Okay, music is the second next to astronomy. Okay, next to astronomy, underneath that is music. Then it's geometry. Then it's arithmetic. Then it's the Trivedium, logic, rhetoric, and grammar. You know, so music is a very dynamic force, because it's two things occupying the same space at once, which according to physics is not supposed to happen, right? You can't even identify where does music exist in what realm. It's like the internet, right? You can't tangibly show me where cyberspace is, but we know that it's something that exists because we are in it right now, right? Lives are being affected by it. People have taken on entire personas based on it. So it definitely has its physical effects in a tangible world, but it's not a tangible reality. You can't physically locate it. It's the same thing with music. Where does music exist, right? And how are those beats and those rhymes able to coalesce and exist in one space, defying the law of physics? Right? So music, as a hypnotic medium, incantations as a form of suggestion to the subconscious that will put you in trance and also program you. Yeah, I would think that music has always had a prominent role, you know what I'm saying, to play in in society. You know, that's why they had it locked up.
Wasn't certain chords and scales banned from certain cultures? Like they was like, nah, you can't play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And church would not be church if not for the organs. You know, let's think about it like
Facts.
that.
That's facts. That's
If it was
facts.
just flat,
It's the
what they
glue.
call dead letter
Yeah.
religion, if they was just spitting at the hip and they ain't had to
Yeah.
and them chords, nah, it wouldn't have stuck.
The book of hymns. I went to a Jamaican funeral. My goodness, I was lit. I understood what the gorilla glue is. It was that book of hymns, you know,
Book of hymns.
very hypnotic. Very hypnotic. I felt the Holy Ghost rising.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Slow it down.
No,
Yeah.
indeed. You go ahead, Blue.
No, I'm just saying that you know, these individuals that are able to make the spells amongst us openly, they're openly making spells, and we are a captive audience, right? Niggas like, I'm there for it. But when that shit dropping at midnight, right? Let me run these spells back. You know, nigga, you could digitally stream your spells now. Let me run these spells. I listened to the album 6 times already. I'm like, my nigga just came out at midnight. You feel me? And we're looking for the song that can put us in the best hypnotic state. They like, nah, this nigga don't got no hypnotism on this album.
Right.
Wow.
Like, that's what you're looking to get trance. You're looking for something to hit you upside your head enough where it could put you in a trance.
Put you in a trance.
Like,
That's
yeah,
called he's in his bag.
Yeah,
Right.
he's in his bag. That's the one right there. It's a radio single. So the rest of the population could get put in a trance too. So then you don't gotta feel alone. That's your favorite song too, son? So
yo, if I could use music as an example, let me use music as an example, right? So if think it from the mind of the people that so-called are running things, or as Bobby Hemming would say, running around this motherfucker, thinking they running things, and I'm trying to figure out what level of the game, where are they at now? Because shit is looking desperate, shit is looking crazy out here. And if I could use Rockefeller as an analogy, when we seen Rockefeller fall, and you could compare the level of the so-called powers that be to Rockefeller's fall, where are they at right now? If you could use the Rockefeller's fall as an example, you know how
Rockefeller Records?
Records, yeah. So Dame brought Cam on. Are we at that level? You know what I'm saying? With the powers that be, with
brought in Fauci, and they like,
you know what I'm saying? Is that like they bringing Cam on and Hove was like, nigga, what the fuck? And Trump was Hove, like, or some yo, this is like some you really got to use your mind shit right now. But where are we at right now in the scheme of things? If we could use Rockefeller as an analogy and compare the two, it's gonna be interesting, man. Gotta hear this shit. Yeah, Dame brought Cam on. Cam lost the whole. Jay lost the whole during Ether for Ether. That was a turning point in Rockefeller to Nas. Nas, that was a turning point.
Yeah, that's when they brought in Cam.
Right.
Niggas forget. I remember them. The show that Dame had
Apollo.
on WBLS with Big Head Gary.
But listen. So when did the U.S. have to bring in Trump? Trump was, would you even consider that bringing him in, or did he take the election by the people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where did Trump come from? That seemed
that's a wild card that still hasn't been processed. People still haven't really figured that one. Was that a wild card or not?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we in a bizarre world. We attempting to make sense of something that really, has defied the logical sense a long time ago. So I don't really want to put ourselves in a brain twister like that. I just think that we are at a dangerous place because the desperation is at a level where they're gonna have to do something very desperate. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, okay, The Rock became a prisoner of his perfection. Right. The Rock becomes a prisoner of his own perfection because I'm too sexy for a breakup, right? Niggas can't allow the world to see that the shit that you've been sold for so long as functioning is no longer functional. America's the same way. They have put themselves in this quagmire of being, right, the perfect republic, and we are policing the rest of the planet and putting on for democracy because we got all of this shit over here figured out. You know what I'm saying? I seen the Muhammad Ali Malcolm X documentary the other night, right?
I gotta catch
Malcolm
that.
was like, nah, not on my watch. I'm not gonna allow them to stand on a global stage and say that we're gonna police the rest of the planet and you niggas got all of these human rights violations in your backyard. I'm going to be vocal. I'm going to be a mouthpiece. I'm going to be a thorn in your side. Anytime that you show up, I'm going to pop up. You feel me? I'm going to pop up on the scene and I'm going to shit down your entire demonstration. So it's the same thing that they're going through over here, right? With their quote unquote dissension saying, oh, this is democracy, coming to bite you in the butt. Because now these people got platforms, now they got a voice, now they got followings, now people are listening to them. Look how we look on an international stage. Because you have to look at this to say, there's a big homie somewhere that's really the big homie. They got all of these little niggas in the Rolodex, and he's just sitting around all day talking about what your numbers looking like. Who's my top hitters and who my top earners? Oh,
Big
ain't with the program. Oh, we're gonna hit his head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who's the Godfather of Harlem?
Yeah, the
He's
Doogie.
Frank Costello. There's a Frank Costello somewhere. You feel me? They got all of these underlings, which would be heads of states for different countries, and he's just calling them up to see who got the most, stringent measures to get the most population of people underneath their thumb for the next move that's coming. Because this ain't the next move.
I would say that person, you would be able to find them in the directory of the World Economic Forum, the people that are behind the Great Reset. Prince Charles was a part of that. This build better. What's the slogan for Joe Biden and them? It's the build better something.
Yeah,
BBB.
I mean, leave it amorphous. The point is, don't point a finger at somebody because you can't tag nobody in this necessarily.
You can't necessarily tag anybody.
It's a 1% of a 1%er.
Keep that in mind.
That's an amorphous phrase. Don't tag it. Don't run after that.
Build back better. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Build back better.
There's an unseen big homie somewhere pushing the buttons.
That is a fact. But I'm giving you. I'm helping to shorten. I'm helping to narrow the search to say that if you on your Scooby-Doo and you're looking for the culprit, you would have to walk through the World Economic Forum, start searching through there, and that might lead you to certain other places because that is the center where a lot of this stuff is being disseminated from. That is the center of power. This basically has its tentacles, this in control of putting out these quote unquote drills on heads of state that are not complying, right? Giving out the talking points to these individuals in these white coats that are telling people what to do, what not to do. You dig what I'm saying? This is a part of what is known as the Great Reset. You understand? There's a plan at play. This is not something that's happening, and it's, they're not shooting from the hip and trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? They're not trying to fly in mid-flight. They have this shit figured out. So whoever would be the equivalent to a Rockefeller in his day, you would have to point who is that person today. And it's not the talking heads that they're putting in front of us. Right. It's not any of the names that we know.
For lack of a better term, we could literally say it's a Rockefeller, right? Let's just use one of them.
Okay.
Right. It's a Rockefeller because in that one person, you have head of banking, you have someone who's sitting on the boards of pharma, you have somebody that's sitting on the boards, you know what I'm saying, of different he got different politicians and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody that's sitting on the head of the oil situation, and then all of those particular conglomerations come over top entertainment. So you have somebody that can be like, look, all of this stuff got to run through me. You feel me? I see them people based on whatever timeline it seems that they're racing against, because it definitely looks like they have a tangible timeline that they're attempting to defeat. Those people are going to get very desperate. You know what I'm saying? They've already showed their hand that this is not a democracy. This is not a republic.
Yo, Blue, the dude, Kev from Real Niggas, he said in his program that was taken down by YouTube, he was like, they got a 2-year time window to really get shit done, and that's why they working so hard.
Yeah,
that energy that was coming through. It was like a 2-year time window.
2023. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that number come up quite often, and so it looks like they are looking at a calendar and racing a particular time, and they're throwing things at the wall before they get super duper desperate. So yeah, I think that it's gonna go exactly the way that we've seen in certain movies. The resistance is gonna have to go underground, and it's gonna be, and it's not gonna be cute. You feel me? It's not gonna be cute. You're gonna have to,
I had pointed out,
my nigga. Yeah, right. You're gonna have to go back to steel cutouts.
I pointed out, that slop that they were eating in Zion, right? And they were wearing burlap, no designer. right? So I was pointing out September 15th as being an integral date because that is the deadline for the military, the armed forces, to get the jabbing tent, right? The Jabberwocky. You already see there's videos going around right now of a resistance forming and people basically saying they're not with that and walking off and whatnot. I saw a video where there's some jet fighters and whatnot, top of the line jet fighters, and they were basically, walking off. So my whole theory is once the standing army, right, who are back from Afghanistan with a chip on their shoulder, right, and other places, once they're forced to undergo this quote unquote gross violation, right, they are going to be turned against the quote unquote citizens because of the simple fact that they had to undergo, what it is that they had to undergo. Okay. At this point, you don't know where they stand, but after they get the Jabberwocky, you understand that they stand on the side of the sullied and not the unsullied, right? So
it's a lot of cold language going on, family. Follow closely.
You know what I mean?
Of cold language. That's how we moving in 20 from now and beyond. Okay, Ray.
We just have to be very mindful of these dates, these deadlines, and things of that nature. But like Blue, I asked the question again, like, where's the state? You know what I mean? Or what's the city? Or what's the town? Like collectively, where are people planning? Where's Zion? Like
where's Zion in this country right now? Give me a couple of Zions, family. Y'all travel a lot. Y'all travel way more than me. Give me a couple of Zions right now.
Where are the potential Zions?
Potential Zions.
Yeah.
Is it Atlanta? Is it Atlanta?
No.
Atlanta's gonna be always
Wakanda.
The main candidates. Yeah,
it's a hub.
It's
a jumping point. People will gather there.
Hold on. People here know no freedom. People here know what it's like not to be under a particular restriction. And I think that you have to know it and appreciate it in order to be willing to defend it. You know what I'm saying? New York don't know it enough to defend it. They never had it. Only thing that y'all known is lockdown. Y'all didn't get a taste. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta had a taste, and Atlanta's not going to be willing voluntarily to go backwards. Before they do that, they would get the D-boys and the strippers and all of them to turn on the unjabberwocked, to say, all right, go wash them up then. They'll do that.
They were already deputizing.
They're
already deputizing the citizens to go against the other citizens. But let me, because there's been some answers in the chat, so we got to put this on the record.
I don't want to get too heavy into this particular conversation.
Let me make these Zions.
Yeah. Okay.
Wyoming, Florida, and Texas, Montana, Colorado, El Salvador, right? New Mexico, Miami, Texas again, Atlanta, New Zion, ATL, Florida, Utah, St. George to be exact, Costa Rica, Georgia, Oklahoma, Dallas, Texas, El Salvador, New Mexico.
That's another thing.
Texas.
On some I Am Legend shit. Your safe community might not look like the community that you used to. Okay?
Wow.
Are you ready for that?
Wow.
Assimilation? Integration?
I'm just saying, if it's some, if it's some folks, right, with the fairer complexion, and they got their things set up,
right,
and they running that underground network, right? What if the Underground Railroad is vanilla this time, my nigga? Like,
right.
Nigga, yo, you hear this shit? Nigga said, what if the Underground Railroad is vanilla this time? You hear this shit Blue be saying sometime, bro?
Man,
this dude Blue, man.
Mayonnaise Network.
Nigga
Donna Karen in them. I don't know about that. You know?
No, it's weird. I was Red. You know what's the weirdest shit in the world? That the majority of the people, everybody's woke now, right?
Yes.
So the woke are less your friend at this time than the Trumpsters. And the Trumpsters hate niggas. So that's just the weirdest predicament to be in. The Trumpsters hate niggas. They don't like niggas. Come on. Trump ain't like niggas.
The wokesters are Jabberwockies.
But the weird shit is that the woke niggas will sell you out way faster than them, and they don't like you.
You probably got more in common with somebody who don't like you right now than you do with the person who got the same garb on as you, know the same, you know what I'm saying, catchwords. You feel me? Can give you the conscious handshake and all that stupid shit. Right. Yeah. That nigga about to turn you in.
Beloveds.
For Chick-fil-A a year.
A year at Subways, right? You know what I'm talking about? It's the same people who pulled the lever for Joe Biden and Kamala the cat. It's them. Because they were remember, they have egg on their face. They have a lame duck president in office, right? He's a non-essential. He's lame duck, right? So in order for them, and now he's deputized, right? He's beginning to deputize the citizens to do what? It's almost like an Inquisition. He's deputizing them to be the eyes and the ears and to be the enforcers. He said his patience is wearing thin. Our patience is wearing thin. He was using all of the code words, right? So the people who pulled the lever for him, they have to do something to pledge their allegiance, you know what I mean, to make it worth something, because they're sitting around to salvage what was already lost. So now they find a way to bond. There's a demonocracy. It's called mob rule. Now he's putting out a whole bonding aspect to it's us against them. Typical 9/11 language, right on time, right? It landed directly on the anniversary. And I would just say, you know, it's time to take this shit serious.
Told you it was coming.
No,
I like wait for 9/11. They got something big coming, as promised. You feel me? And I just seen a flash across my screen saying that the federal mandate, is exempt to Congress, though.
Oh, right. For sure.
And that was the first question people should have been asking: is that if these dudes is over the age of 60 and they're responsible for running the country, and we just saw the threat that they were under in January 6th. Don't you think that this would be the first line of participants that sign up to get the jab? Or they was like, they love running that, just like the president of Pfizer. Like, oh, no, we had limited supply, so we had to run it through the population first. We didn't want to take nobody's joints.
Yeah, we worry about you guys.
You got 200 million of them joints sitting around with no arms to push them in. You feel me? Why Congress ain't take theirs yet? If they want to galvanize the country to follow the step of responsible citizenship, why don't the very elected officials demonstrate publicly that they all got the Jabberwocky? Right? People is, everybody seems to be out for lunch in this regard. Not everybody, but the conversation that I'm hearing, the community that's making the most noise, unfortunately, is not our community. And they on top of this shit. I mean, on top of it, the information is coming out, the vigilance, the diligence. They on top of their game. No rest. They see this for what it is. Oh, we hella laid back. Again, we was making more noise for George Floyd than we are for the continuity of our species. And then it's like, I feel for y'all that got the babies. Because that's all this is about. This is all about the babies. This is all about them dealing that, that final blow to that. How can we level off society? How can we pretty much, if we was into depopulation or stopping a population from growing, how will we do it? Right? As diabolical as you can get, write up your game plan. The shit will look something like what you're seeing right now. Right?
Right.
Get the military out the way, get the adults out the way, and put the rest of them in games so they on the run from the other ones who we deputized to get on their helmet because we just pulled unemployment. You know what I'm saying? We're destroying the middle class, right? And it's going to be a food shortage. We lifted the rent moratorium. These niggas going to be desperate in 3 or 4 months. They know that.
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming, right? Put them against one another, and we're going to go for these babies. Right?
It's a war tactic.
LA, yeah. The schools in Los Angeles mandated today that children
12,
right, got to get the jab.
12
by the end of November.
Jabberwocky, man. Come on.
Jabberwocky. Yeah, I can't even.
You gotta come on.
You gotta get the whole.
You gotta get that.
Jabbington.
It's a whole new language, Blue. Get with it, man.
Get with it, man.
The
lexicon has changed.
Yo, lexicon has changed.
My bad.
We in year 1 right now. What's this? 2021. We in year 1 right now. It's a new lexicon.
Look, man. I know
year
second
1.
String, but when you had the first string up there the other day, everybody had their cash app up there. Yeah, as long as I ain't third string, nigga.
That was Little Goddess. Little Goddess, could you put their cash apps so they won't think they Little Goddess.
Yeah, but a hut.
So and this shit is not, I'm concerned. You feel me? I'm concerned for the children more than anything. Because we're talking about experimenting on children with the I'm like, you can't, and they don't have no conscience. They don't have no chill. They don't have no cut. It's everything that you thought it is. Our people is practicing plausible deniability. They don't want to see this thing for what it is. I'm like, my nigga, those are fangs, okay? Those are fangs, right? Stop lying to yourself, man. These people is not out here playing no games.
Y'all want to get to some Q&A before we leave, family? I need some Q&A from y'all for the red and the blue. We're about to get into the last segment of the show. Pardon me, the last segment of the show. We're gonna get to some Q&A from the people. Give me some good questions in the chat room. I'm with the red pill, the blue pill. Did somebody post these brothers' cash app? Am I gonna have to write it down? Let me just see. I don't see it. Is Little God? I'm using StreamYard, so I can't make anybody. At least I don't know how to make somebody a moderator using StreamYard. So, pardon me, family, if I had a lack of moderators lately, but the software I'm using is not like Zoom.
It would be remiss of us. We can't sit up here and not say rest in peace to Michael K. Williams.
Please do. Yeah,
Rising power.
Rising power to that brother. I had a conversation on my live the other day about about the mask. And this is not a conversation about the mask mandate. This ain't about the nylon mask that they have us wearing. This is about the career mask. This is about the mask that we all don out in public. This is about the mask that, especially us who have adopted alter egos or alternative personalities, or I'm the blue pill, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
avatars.
Yeah. These things come with masks. In this individual's case in particular, Michael K. Williams, he had to keep up with the character that he was typecast as, because the character who he was typecast as is the person who was receiving the love. This was the person who was receiving praise. This was the person who was receiving adoration. This is who they was checking for. They wasn't checking for Michael. They didn't want to know Michael. You know what I'm saying? So again, sometimes we become a prisoner of our own celebrity when we create these personas and these characters, and you got to keep it up every single day. You know, it's cool for somebody to be like, yo, yeah, Brother Blue was cool. And, you know, when I met him, he was just like he is on the internet. But I'm like, my nigga, like, I'm somebody else, though. You feel me? And that person got a whole life. And that person, you know, like, I don't know if I want to be the blue pill every single day of my life. Right? When do I have the opportunity to take the mask off and just be myself? And there's elements of myself to go into that character, but it's a character nonetheless. You feel me? And you have to be able to separate yourself from that shit, or you're gonna get caught up. You're gonna get caught up. You feel me? So he was a prisoner. He became a prisoner to his own celebrity. He became a prisoner to his character. And he couldn't take the mask off because he said that he came from non-appreciation. He came from being awkward. He came from being not accepted. You feel me? Now here's this dude that's on TV playing a gay gangster, and the people love him for that. And he can't even go back to his original self. Now, I don't know what his original self entails. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't want to know either. They just wanted the character, bro. And then and then you jump from character to character. And you got to take on, especially when you're playing a dark character who's a protagonist or who's an antagonist for that matter, who people are going to potentially not like, but then they end up loving the hero villain.
Anti-hero.
The anti-hero, niggas love that.
Right.
Right? Tupac could not be Bishop.
Couldn't shake it.
Right?
You know, Michael B. Jordan said he needed therapy after Black Panther,
bro,
to shake off the Killmonger personality.
That's a whole energy on them niggas. That's a whole entity on them.
Crazy.
You feel me?
Crazy.
If they be like, yo, you know, you did an amazing show the other day with Panic. Shout out to Panic, talking about the ancestor realm, right? I mean, ties so many loose ends together. But even when we're talking about in the ancestral realm, the way that you continue life in the ancestral realm is for your name to be repeated continuously and invoked. You know what I'm saying? Think about these characters. You think that those characters don't have a signature somewhere in a particular realm? Like Red be talking about with the egregor, where you are evoking these characters, and that character has a mad power, mad energy pocket somewhere in one of these multiplicity of dimensions that we exist in.
Necronomicon.
That shit is an energy that lives on you. You feel me? Imagine a guy, he got adoration and praise for being a gay stick-up kid. People loved him for it, right? My father said I was his favorite actor.
That's a fact.
Right? But niggas don't want to know about Malcolm K. Williams necessarily. Maybe his mama. They like, yeah, your homies them. But we here for Omar. Nigga, you Omar. Imagine shit. Somebody needs to talk to what's his name? Tate's. What's the brother that played O-Dog?
Lorenz Tate.
Nigga, was you ever able to be Lorenz again? So you sacrifice your whole being for a character. Right?
And if you embody that character, you become him.
You him for the rest of your life. And it's like, you like, damn, the check don't even equate to that. I got paid peanuts for this role. I got infamy and notoriety, but I can't even be myself no more. Right? Lawrence Fishburne will forever be Morpheus. We like, nigga, cut it out. You Morpheus. I had met him in Miami And the shit was surreal, man. I was on Collins. I was in front of the Lowe's, right? And they was having the African American Film Festival out there. So I'm on the strip and shit. It's raining, and I run right into Lawrence Fishburne. Now I'm P Morpheus at this time, right? That's my name and shit. So I run into Lawrence Fishburne. I literally like ran right into bro. He had the umbrella up. He lifted the umbrella. I'm like, oh shit, Morpheus. He gave me a bear hug. And he was like, my name is Lawrence.
Cam had a story about him too, man.
Child. You know, like nigga hit me with the Morpheus shit, but he was like, my name is Lawrence. And I remember when my father told me that he changed his name from Larry to Lawrence. I'm like, no, nigga, you changed your name from Lawrence to Larry. Like, what are you doing? Who goes from Larry to Lawrence? I'm like, this nigga's
he's a thespian.
He is a thespian for real. But yeah, like people that love, their own personal identity often don't want to get trapped in the characterization of somebody who they, pick up or adopt just to do a job. You know what I'm saying? And that job has a beginning and an ending period, but that's not a given for everybody. Everybody can't turn it off. You know what I'm saying? And that's I could only imagine that might be a dreadful place to be at. And then you got substance abuses on top of that, dealing with your own personal shit. Like, yeah, it could get real tricky. But I don't know the details about what transpired in the last hours of that man's life. I just know that everybody that I know that know him got nothing but amazing things to say about him. That's and his character speaks for itself. I don't know about his lifestyle. I know about his character through the eyes of people who I consider reputable, right? And I consider to be people who I would, listen to. They have nothing but the highest of regards for that man's life and his legacy. So may he rest in peace. He's a Brooklyn Flatbush native who cared a lot about his community. You'll see endless amount of videos with him on the block dealing with the people. He was really a people's person. I seen him dozens of times in the community. You know what I'm saying? But I did not have a personal relationship with him. But may he continue to rise in power. Absolutely.
Yeah, when I tap into his energy, he's giving me DMX vibes. He's giving me strong DMX vibes. He bodied the tribute to DMX. He embodied DMX and then bodied it. I'm also reminded of Chadwick Boseman when it comes to the level of thespian and the loss that we're going to that we experience by the loss of talent. You know what I mean? Like Blue was saying, people who I consider to be reputable, they gave this man full honors. You know what I mean? They gave him 21 gun salute. They said he was a stand-up individual. He was about his people. He was about his community. Like Blue said, I don't know about his lifestyle. You know what I mean? I don't know how, what he's doing, what he was doing behind closed doors. That's none of my business, right? I don't know him personally, but as an actor, as a thespian, he was admired by me. Chalky White is my favorite character that he embodied and whatnot. Excuse me?
From Boardwalk Empire. Sure was it Montrose?
Yeah, huh? You sure it wasn't Montrose? Well, to be honest with you, when you think about Boardwalk Empire, he's the dark horse of the whole series. Like, he's the co-star. That kind of got me off of the whole Omar thing. You know what I mean? That character, Chalky White, definitely. And Jeffrey Wright as well. He's also another one of those actors who completely embodies his role, and he's fighting demons as well. Last time, allegedly, I don't know, but we got to check on these artists and these thespians. They're human at the end of the day.
Look, yeah. And while we talking about it, like check on Andre 3000.
Right. He's hurting.
Like, again, we and that's the shit. Like, when I heard Kanye, you know, I'm like, I hear nigga this really hurting, you know? Like his albums that we laud and applaud, it's like, all right, what level of hurt can Ye dish up for us next?
Yeah, it's
Right.
like sad, you know.
Yeah, they want to
showing
bond,
up
trauma bond.
to see a nigga working
It's
through
pain porn. They call it
porn.
pain porn.
Right.
Pain porn.
It's Mr. Marcus of pain porn.
We showing up for pain porn. We showing up to see how a nigga work through his psychosis. Like, son ain't right. You feel me? Son ain't right. He needs a monumental hug and some other things, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people who we appreciate them for their moments, but we don't check on them. And if nothing else, y'all walk away from the situation of what has been put into our lap, and check on the people who you love. You know what I'm saying? Like, check on them. Make sure that people is in their right space mentally, because people are dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression. It's sad. And it's only going to amplify, you know, leaving out of this the next few days as they going through their 20-year memorial of 9/11. On top of that, they're going to be hitting them with the COVID news. I mean, god damn, my bad. C-19. Is that even? Anyway.
Too late.
Yeah, check on your people, because the mental, right, the things that people can hide that you might not see on the surface might be deteriorating behind the curtain, right? People's mentals, their minds, their resilience, their optimism, right? It might be waning. You feel me? You might want to check on people, because people are going to be tapping out. I'm trying to tell you, they're going to be like, yo, I had to go and do it. I'm sorry. They're going to be going on the other side of that line. And you're just going to be losing people. This shit going to look like Chinese arithmetic. You know, when they be having the little things with the strings?
Yeah. So let me add on.
You got to, go ahead, bro.
Well, let me get to the next question real quick, Blue.
Let me add on real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
That, keep in mind, like Blue was saying, there's only one line that could be crossed over. They can't come back on this side, right? So there's only the fact that we'll be losing more people to that side. There's no coming from that side back over here. Check on your people. We're experiencing mental health crises all around us, okay? People are beginning to deteriorate all around us, and I'm not one who makes fun, or I'm not one who will rally behind any type of mental breakdown that I see taking place in the community. When I went into New York City last year, after they lifted up certain type of restrictions, I reported about the mental health breakdown that the whole city was going through, right?
You did.
The whole entire city was going through it. It's only been exasperated throughout the months and whatnot, and it's picking up even more so. We're going into the winter, right? There's a lot of weight on people's shoulders. Avoid conflict by any means necessary. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed into people projecting, because niggas are waking up angry and stressed. You know what I'm talking about? And they're deflecting and they're projecting and whatnot. Don't get in that line of fire. Road rage is at an all-time high. You know what I'm talking about? Don't fall into that trap. You know, and energy vampirism is also at an all-time high. So don't slip up and fall for somebody coming to you that they need coddling and whatnot, but they just trying to latch on and bite you in the neck. So you have to practice the art of discernment and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of pity parties. Don't go to every party. You know what I'm talking about? Don't go to every party. Like Blue was saying earlier, if you got little ones, that should be the main focus. You should be speaking life into them. You don't know what they're facing when they go back into the school system. You don't know what's going on in their little worlds and whatnot. And you don't know how they're processing all of this, quote unquote, the inundation of fear. You know what I mean? The blanketing of fear and whatnot. They're feeling the vibrations. They don't have to watch the news. They don't have to be plugged into mainstream media and whatnot. They could feel it in the air. They're a little more susceptible to the subtleties than we are, right? So we need to be able to shelter them and speak life into them. Like Blue said in the last time we got together, they're after the babies. They're canceling the babies. They're attacking the babies. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, Big Mama, that Donda energy, you know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Kanye for tapping into that. That's very important. That Donda energy, even that CLB, that baby mama energy. That's you know what Drake is bringing. You know, the mamas, the mothers. You feel me? They need to be protected, y'all. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Let's go on to the next jump off.
Yeah, let's. I want to go on to the next question, but before I do, I want to give a shout out to my mother. Has a book that was just released. Kayla Petey and the Forest Family is now on Amazon. The link will be in the description bar after the video. You could go click on the link.
Let's talk about it.
It's amazing. Listen,
talk about it. I got a few.
You got oh,
yeah.
Shit. Blue, let me see that. Let me show the people because it's important for them to see.
That's right.
Let me see that, Blue. It's important. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I got more on the way. It's coming.
Hey.
It's coming.
That's
right. I appreciate the support.
This is a dope production.
Yeah.
Yeah, the illustration. Yeah.
Dope production.
That'll be my daughter's bedtime story.
Yeah. Shout out to Bella. I got one for her.
Yo, family. So my mother was a Montessori teacher. If y'all missed the show with Panic or the show with Billy, Panic, and Phil, my sister recently released a book that my mother wrote. Her and my mother wrote before my mother passed away. She just released it. It's out on Amazon now, and I'm extremely proud. I'm extremely excited. I've been wanting it to come out, but for whatever reason, it took so long. And my sister just released it, so I'm happy. So I told the family about it, and I got a lot of support from y'all. So I want to thank y'all. Blue, thank you for the support. Panic sent me a receipt of that. He bought 20 copies. Billy bought 21. Listen, I appreciate everybody for going out there supporting the book. I forgot to give it a shout out in the beginning of the show with the rest of the ads, but I will do that. I'm not even thinking like that. I'm just so proud at this moment that I didn't even think about putting in the ads, but I will. But go support Kayla Petey and the Forest. You type in that name on Amazon and it come up. If you don't want to type in that whole name, I'll put the name. The link will be in the description, family. But yeah, proud of my moms for that, for laying that one down.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Shout out to Umi. That's that Donda energy. Right? Donda. That's that that's that, you know, so, that's edifying again, Umi.
Yeah, like I said, you know, with this Ida, you gotta understand, you know, and speak a minute just about this feminine energy. It came in Virgo season, it came on the anniversary of Katrina. The number 29 is correlating to copper. Copper correlates to Venus. You know what I'm saying? It also damn, what am I missing? Just, you know, again, the same day that Donda came out as well. Heavy feminine energy, you know, dealing with, again, the subconscious. Indeed. Right? That other aspect of consciousness that the conscious community is missing. You feel me? The ability to embrace creativity, imagination, you know what I'm saying, without calling things pseudo and being so closed door on things that you just possibly can't know. You know, being open-minded, you know what I'm saying? Being intuitive, being, you know, embracing the fact that, you know, we wired with emotions. We are emotional people. You know what I mean? All of the things that we just have not paid enough attention and focus to. I just saw it as very symbolic, you know what I mean? That it made its way up to New York of all places, you know, with this window of time, and Ida being a pillar or a column of Ida and Pingala, the third pillar or the third column or the third tower being the Shoshana, which is the spine, you know, that traverses that energy all the way up into the top. You know, getting back into conversation about breathing and all of these things that is so necessary that we tend to overlook. I seen a video today of a brother that I follow on Instagram, I tune in and check him out every day. He does fashion and stuff, so I haven't seen him in a minute. And he went live today from the hospital, from the bed,
Mm-hmm.
and he had all the wires in him and stuff. And he survived COVID, and he was just giving his testimonial. He was just speaking life back into himself, back into the situation, and just giving glory to the Most High continuously. Continuously just giving glory to the Most High, and just overemphasizing, the fact that we just need to embrace the things in life that we overlook, like the ability to have a full breath. Like, you don't know how much of a focal point that comes down to when you can't breathe properly. That shit is very distressing. When you can't get a full breath and you got a shortness of breath and your lungs is filled up with fluid, that's not a comfortable position to be in at all. You know what I'm saying? And we taking a lot for granted, and I think that's how we got into the situation, just taking a lot for granted and not seeing the writing on the wall. Again, it's micro macro. The community, as the small micro community, is a representation of the macro, which is the larger community. I think that our community refused to see the writing on the wall with certain things. You know what I'm saying? Now, situations is upon us, and with the macro community, it's the same thing. So leave it at that.
Yeah, that's interesting, Blue. Very interesting. Let me get to I see a question that's pretty interesting in the chat right now. Somebody wants to know. Shit, I done lost it. Man, I done lost the question. I was trying to save it. Yeah, back. So far, the question basically was, how does one deal with guilt in this lifetime? Like, damn, I wish I would have.
That person will repeat it. I'm sure that they hear you asking it.
Yeah, it was dealing with guilt. Let's
But that's the general sense of the question.
Yeah, Aquarius Maximus was in the hospital, was dealing with COVID. Shout out to that sister. She was dealing with pneumonia-like symptoms. I talked to her 2 days ago because she got the workshop coming up tomorrow.
Okay.
And I talked to her via text a couple of days ago, and she told me she was going through pneumonia-like symptoms. So prayers to that sister and everything she's dealing with.
Love and light for her.
Yeah.
She's dealt with her son, having it on more than one occasion, and different people in her vicinity, from what I can gather, listening to her lives. So I would think that, that sister's well equipped to deal with whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And I wish her the best. And again, as a community, I do think that it's responsibility of the community, because one or two people can't do the job of us all. Phil got to write the exemption forms up. KT's doing the research. Shout out to Nova. They have formed a online group where we share information amongst melanated people. Curtis
KT got something tomorrow.
Yeah, KT got something
on his
else
Patreon
as well. Yes. I'm just speaking about a community resource where we can give people suggested alternatives if they feel that they're coming down with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that you got to get in front of the first 48. So we need a resource center. Shout out to Supreme Understanding and Rizza Islam. They put a book out. They did put a book out.
Yes.
There's like 1,200 pages, and you can find that. It's free as well. It's a download. It's an ebook, and you can get that off of his Science of Self at Science of Self on IG. That's a resource, because in the book he got all the exemptions for every state. I don't know how valid it will be now, but it's better than having nothing. And there's a lot of more information in that particular demonstration. You know,
you know who got some real good information about what to do. You talked about the first 48, Mr. G. Mr. G tried to upload something to YouTube, but I knew YouTube wasn't gonna fuck with it. But there's this gentleman out in Honduras that Mr. G get a lot of spiritual information from that gave him something to do. And but what he was telling me was in correlation with a lot of things Dr. Phil Valentine said. So I know it's legit. And yeah, I want y'all.
You might have to get him on the show to put it on record. You know, however best he can do it.
I gotta call Mr. G. I gotta call you back, bro. I know you hit me up the other day.
Yeah, you know, it's something out there, y'all. I don't know what to call it. You know what I'm saying? I can't put a finger on it. There are experts that are out there that are making key observations. You know, that are connecting some dots. I would suggest that you listen to what what's being said. But there's something going on. There's something going on. You feel me? And that shit is kicking people in their butt. So,
y'all know what I told Blue earlier, family? A couple of weeks ago, the book that I was recommending around the time Nipsey Hussle passed away, I forget the name of it.
Superior Man?
Nah, it wasn't that one. It wasn't.
Invisible.
Now, King Simon, if you're still in the chat, I got it from you, King Simon. I bought it from you. But anyhow, the book talked about, I was telling Blue about this a couple of weeks ago, the power of cold showers and how that, gets rid of a lot of the psychic energy we accumulate. We go out there throughout the daytime and we talk to everybody selling us their perception of reality, and that starts to cling on our aura. When you go home at night and you take that cold shower, that shit gets rid of all that shit. You feel completely renewed, bro. And they broke down the science of that in the book. So there's little things that we could do because, everything is energy related. All disease is energy related. When you got them openings in your energy and them chakras, entities get in. Next thing you know, you feel dehydrated, or you got cancer, you got this, or you got that. But the cold shower, bro, is some real shit. I'm telling you, I do that shit every day, man. That shit is some real shit, y'all.
Shout out to KT. He reminded me.
You need to thoroughly get the science on that.
Yeah, I had a situation like a month and a half ago, and I needed to shake it. And he told me about that cold shower, and lo and behold, it had its effect. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if we can as a community, we need to provide some level of resource to people that's going through whatever they're going through. You know what I'm saying? If they come into contact with that jump off, because the conversation
inner self,
natural immunity versus herd immunity, and natural immunity would suggest that this particular pathogen, if you will, if it traverses through the society, through the community, through the population, then the population will develop natural antibodies. And science at this time, they're saying that the natural antibodies are more effective than the Jabbington. You know what I'm saying? And they're calling a superhuman immunity if you got the Jabberwocky and you had to jump off before, which I'm calling BS. You know what I'm saying? Super immunity or superhuman immunity is somebody that's on a game doing everything that they're supposed to do, aligning themselves with the circadian rhythm, grounding, sun gazing, putting all the right stuff in your body, exercising, and maintaining inner peace and a mindset that is not like a stomping ground for negativity. You know what I mean? It's ultimately the universe getting you on your A game and getting you ready for 5D. If you got the 5D starter pack, you're going to be all right, my nigga. Trust me.
Facts. Give me another question, family. Give me another question in the chat. Before we get out of here, I want to take another question from the people in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat room right now. What time is it? 12:30. We holding down, got the red and the blue. We're on Black Magic 363. What y'all talking about, family? Let me know what y'all talking about. Is melanin bad? You heard me ask Panic that the other day, man. Come on. Give me another question. I mean, I just asked Panic about the relation with melanin and bacteria. Give me another question, y'all. About where do you see the USA in 10 years?
Ain't no USA in 10 years.
Elaborate on that, Ren. What you mean?
Olympus has fallen. What are you talking about? Rome is falling. In 10 years, what you know is the USA will not be. It would not suffice. It would be something else.
Are we going to get one of those maps where the water divides the middle of it? Or you think we're going to get that? Yeah.
I just think the way that the world is moving right now, you know, there's going to be a consolidation of power and things of that nature. We could factor in about another 1 or 2 world wars, but I can't foresee. And keep in mind this great reset, the number that they're throwing out there is 2030, right? With the World Economic Forum and whatnot, 2030 is the benchmark. Yep. But I don't necessarily see, you know, this place that is falling before our very own eyes. It is in decline. The nation is in decline. You know, I can't really foresee a 10-year window. No.
You Blue? Where do you think in 10 years the USA will be, Blue?
It's very key to watch. You know, again, we're watching a empire on a decline, and we're watching another empire, potential empire, ascending. So you get the opportunity to see what people that are going up are doing. So China, in particular, has outlawed all, effeminized iconography or imagery out of their culture. They've shut down hip hop. You can't have girly men on TV. You know what I'm saying? So they are militarizing their youth.
And they want them to cut.
Huh?
They want them to, they encouraging them to cut. They increase the children to 3.
The children occupancy to 3. They want more children. They want more soldiers. They want more workers. Right? And they're preparing them to eventually, you know, go to war with the US, you know, to wipe out whatever's left of this thing. You know what I'm saying? For world dominance, for quantum supremacy. You know what I'm saying? They're fighting for space. They're fighting for quantum supremacy. And they're fighting them for availability or access to resources that are necessary for them to do those things.
Right.
They can't go to space without the chips. They can't go, you know what I'm saying? They can't be the economic superpower without the minerals that come out of the continent. Because in order to power electronic vehicles and autonomous vehicles, you need silver and you need those chips. You need cobalt and the rest of that stuff that they're fighting for. So I can't see where the U.S. would be economically viable in 10 years where it can compete with the people that it's up against right now. Especially, you know, with what's going on right now with Jabberwocky. Because if it blows up in their face, you know what I'm saying, and the information comes out, then they're gonna lose the trust of the few remaining people that they do have. You know what I mean? And if it's successful, you know what I mean, then what this shit gonna look like something out of 1984 or something. Like, what can it possibly look like with all of these people, you know what I'm saying, on zombie demon time? Like, come on now.
I feel that I feel that nanotechnology, robotics, and nanotechnology, robotics, and genome will play a big part. AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning will play a big part. By time 10 years is around the corner, we'll be ushered into the industrial revolution, the 4th one, Web 3.0, 6G, and things of that nature. You know, it's not going to be what it is. You know what I'm talking about? It's not going to be what it is. It's not going to be this this climate that we see.
I mean, I've clearly gone on record understanding what the fourth industrial revolution entails. You know, I don't like, they do not need a population of people to run this thing.
Right.
That's a caveat. Like, they don't need people.
Climate change thing is it's a drill. Climate change is a drill. That whole thing about outlawing the carbon footprint and all of that, that's all code language. You know, they're trying to shorten these numbers, my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're
but
trying to
I mean,
shorten.
even with it being a drill, right? We could say that this is a drill, right? With the Javington, I'm just saying, look how they got this one off. You think it's going to be hard for people to deny that there's some aspect of climate change going on? When they hit them with category 6s and 8.2 earthquakes, they're gonna be like, yo, that's the only language that they know. And they telling them, look, if we miss this small window, which we've already missed, then there's no turning back. So they're already on the other side of things. So they're already telling you that as a planet, the planet is on a downward slope. Right. And it can't survive what's coming by way of climate change.
Right.
So
look.
Why the heavy emphasis on attempting to save people on the planet if the planet itself
is in decline? They're gonna
like,
eating meat is gonna be a luxury in the future. You niggas are not even gonna be able to eat your your Popeye's chicken like that. You know what I mean? You're gonna get Impossible chicken, Impossible pork, and Impossible burgers. All that shit that Bill Gates and them is behind. They're gonna hit you with the mock meat. Because of the aspect of them, you know, the cows and the methane and all of that shit, they're gonna knock all of that down. The emission from the cars, the carbon footprint, everything is going to change as they usher in the fourth industrial revolution. Keyword revolution. Look into it, right? This conversation that they're having at Davos, the conversation that they're having at G7. Conversation that these people are having when they're using codified language and whatnot, heavy on the carbon, you know what I'm talking about? Heavy on the carbon and cutting that shit down. You know, the way that I see it, and based off of some of the research that I've been doing, you know, it's like that's, you know, and like the transhumanism thing is in front of us. It's in your face. Like they're about this whole singularity thing, living to be older than 100, this aspect of space travel and all of that shit, you know what I'm saying? The uber rich, you know, smart cities and things of that nature. You not being able to have access into these smart cities unless your social credit is a certain type of way, and you know you can't gain, you'll not be able to gain entry into some of these places. So when I'm saying that America as we see it as a democracy, you know what I mean? You're seeing the decline right now. We are currently in what is known as a social credit system. In New York, if you wanted to take your child to the movies, you cannot do that right now. If you wanted to go to Mr. Charles and whatnot, if you wanted to go and get you a gourmet meal, you can't do that if you're not jabbing, if you don't have the Jabberwocky. So it begins like that, but go and study China. You can't get on a plane. You can't qualify. Your credit will be affected. You can't move into certain type of cul-de-sacs. So you won't qualify to get certain leases and whatnot. You might not even be able to buy houses. This is part of what is known as the social credit system. It's being rolled out before your very own eyes. They just hit niggas with the universal basic income, the UBI. That was the unemployment. They were coddling you niggas. Like they had you on their titty. The check for the children. And I'm looking for that. I'm like, where is it? You know what I mean? Where is it? The unemployment, the 1,200. You feel me? Mm-hmm. All of these things that they're utilizing to where they're gonna be, you know, it's gonna be the situation where they'll be like, look, the corporations will take care of the people. You feel me? You niggas are not gonna be running up the bag anymore. Y'all all gonna have one income. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Bezos and them and the people who are, you know, sitting on the whales that are sitting on 100 Bitcoins and Ethereum and things like, they might be able to play that game, but they're eradicating the middle class. They're decimating it by the day. Wait,
To this day. To this day.
They're doing it in your face.
They're doing it, yo.
They're doing this shit in your face. But the real social credit, you're seeing the rollout and they're masking it about, you know, us versus them. You know what I mean? The unsullied versus the sullied. You know, we're going to make it hard on them, right? We're going to make it hard on them. You feel me? Yeah, somebody said it sounds like Demolition Man. Like Blue said, what started the resistance, right? The resistance, they look all tattered and thirsty. You know what I'm talking about? No haircuts. You know what I mean? They look mangled. This has happened before. I have a theory in my heart that when we see those forest fires, they're burning people out of their habitats. That's what my spirit tells me. When we see those,
no, I'm just, that's just empty land.
I know, Blue. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, like how the Maroons are in Jamaica and they're fighting right now. They're getting ready to have conflict and things of that nature. But when my spirit tells me, nah, fam, those are they're catching bodies. They're committing
washing
atrocities.
Up the resistance, yeah.
They're washing up the resistance. You feel me? The resistance were in the forest, like the Salem witch. You know what I mean? The resistance. These people had to take to the forest. They had to take to the woods to do their work, to do their magic, to be with the elements and things of that nature. When you deal with the way that they took America from the indigenous people that walk along those trails, when you go jogging and whatnot, those are some of the places where our people were retreating to lay low against the quote unquote resist. They were the resistance. They were in the swamps of Florida. They were in the quote unquote woods of New England. You dig what I'm saying? They were in the woods of Georgia. They were in the mountains of Georgia and Tennessee and the Carolinas. You dig what I'm saying? And they flushed them out. They flushed them out.
Look,
so what I'm
said, we off the grid.
Oh, my kids.
Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
We, you know, that conversation is started last year and then it stopped. I don't know why. You feel me? Like, these are measures that people have to have already taken, you know what I mean? And gotten ahead of things. You know, I'm talking out loud because I'm trying to figure out. I know what mine started. That's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, and again, yeah, align yourself with people, family that share the same values that you, not just be talking that shit, right? Because this is your life now we're talking about. This is your family's life. If you got ladies, if you got children, like, don't be, you know, sharing your thoughts and ideas and plans with some weak ass niggas. You got to know who's who before you enter into this particular engagement of getting low and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Because there's going to be a lot of trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Facts.
You feel me? And again, going into fall and going into the winter, you know, and all these international places is closing their doors. Don't think that just, you know, because niggas was drumming you in your head all your life about going back to Africa conversations, that you're going to just be able to get up and go back to Africa, nigga. You're going to get a rude awakening. Every turn that you make, right? And then it harkens back to the conversation that nobody wants to have, that the Moors was initiating 20 years ago, telling folks that you don't own your bodies. And what did people do? They called them crazy and everything.
Subject.
Right? But when something happens and they snatching up one of these babies from one of our families in the community, you know what I'm saying? We got to come on here and do quantum meditation. But it's like, look, we need to get out of our emotions and listen to these conversations and see if they have any merit in them. What were the conversations initially saying? That they were utilizing the mother as an informer to hand over the child in the hospital, and now that child is assigned this particular number, becomes a ward of state. Now these people is running down on physical bodies and telling you what? You don't own your body.
You don't own your body.
If you got this, that, and the other, we own you. Now, they just talking now like, oh, it's between you and them when it's coming down to work and a job and things of that nature. right? But again, they're taking off their guard, my nigga, and showing you what time it is. They just gonna come out one day and just tell you straight up.
Mm. Mm.
Like,
Just
oh, now
straight up one, straight
y'all,
up.
yeah, y'all property, and you know, we down to our last million. We need to close this thing out.
Woo! Shit. Straight like
But
that.
if you gotta be part of the 144,000, then that's what you gotta do. If it comes down to you as the last person, that's what you gotta stand on. If that's what you about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is gonna be a test to see, who's built like what.
Yes.
So USA in
Wow.
10 years is nothing like we expect it to be. It's totally, you know what I'm saying, is automated or still within the throes of some form of a civil war with the underground resistance.
And also keep in mind that you have the pantheon of the ancestors on your side. The warriors crossed over, a lot of warriors, a lot of great ones. Tap into those shrine work, tap into the altars and whatnot, tap into the pantheon of the great ones, and the pantheon of the great ones, they left behind works. We're not talking about, looking on, I'm talking about play their music, play their lectures, read their books, edify them, right? I'm gonna say a few names because we have to put their names out in the universe in order for them to understand that we are keeping them alive. Dr. Africa, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Sabi, right? Baba Kalindi, just those names that I just mentioned. If they were here, imagine what type of impact that they would have based off of the hour that we are in. So that their loss, the loss, or the fact that they're not with us in the flesh, that right there is showing you the void, the huge void that's being left behind. Okay, so Khalid Muhammad, you dig what I'm saying? Y'all can help. Y'all can help. Dr. Delbert Blair.
Oh, of course.
Right?
C. Freeman L.
C. Freeman L. Okay.
Dr. Amos Wilson.
Dr. Amos Wilson.
Gloria.
Runoko Rashidi.
Yes.
Right? The one who would have been able to lead us out the country, and he understood his face card was good around the world and indigenous communities based off of the work that he was doing. You understand? Baba Dick Gregory. Imagine what his research would have been when he would have been able to give us pieces of information that none of us were able to get, because that's how he was giving it up. Barashango, right? And then Dr. Ben, and then when we come into the music and whatnot, we lost a lot of our rappers, the brothers and sisters who were inspiring the messianic ones, the Pop Smokes of the world. You dig what I'm saying? The Nipsey Hustles of the world, Credo Mutwa. Okay. So I'm tapping into them. I'm constantly doing research, and I'm backtracking, and I'm getting into their information, and I'm seeing how profound they were, and I'm seeing how on time they were. A lot of our people are soothsayers. They put the information out, and it becomes relevant decades later.
Yes.
MF Doom.
MF Doom.
Chancellor Williams. So that part.
Yeah. And and family, now as well is not the time to like totally fall back on crypto. Y'all got to get back into your crypto. You got to get back into your DeFi. You got to tap into the bully and other people in the community that have been continuing their research. You feel
Biggest
me?
crypto play ever.
Yeah, biggest crypto play ever.
We just did a pop-up in Houston, and it was lit. We tapped into the metaverse, virtual reality. We had the Oculus Rift and everything. We were onboarding people into the virtual world. And they've been showing, they've been broadcasting these lives in the metaverse with hundreds of people been showing up to watch. So it's time, like Blue Pill said, to definitely tap in. Options, the trade, the day trading, all of that is at play.
Yeah. Shout out to Billy Carson. He got the options class going. you know, there's a sister in the community, Akonundrum, I think her name is. She has a black virtual mall.
Yeah,
I see her.
I keep hearing about that.
That's lit, because that's gonna be so necessary. You're gonna have to have you a digital product heading into this next lockdown. The post office, I'm telling you from a personal place, I know that shit is breaking down. Okay, that shit is like the country. The post office is like the U.S. empire. The shit is on its last legs. So, you know, you're gonna have to make necessary adjustments. No one is gonna do it for you. And by the time that you get the signal that the shit is on and popping, it might be too late. I don't know if they sending any more money out, right? And they definitely ain't sending no money without you verifying that you got the jabby too. So, you know, that's over and done with. You on the other side of things, right? And if you're not gonna get a UFO invasion anytime soon, my niggas, then you're gonna have to thug this one through.
You feel me? You the Taliban.
Yeah, this shit gonna be different. And I don't, you know, we don't want to be the I told you so. Like that's not even a comforting position to have. But they shaking the fleas right now. You know what I mean? They like, nigga, you gonna love this plantation. Nigga, you gonna love to be in this country, right? That's where they at with it.
And this is my thing.
They pledge their allegiance shit to another level. They like, why would you work for the federal government and not fuck with us? Yeah, take the job.
Right. And then you got Rickety Joe out there, but don't let him tap out and bring in homegirl. Because he's on his tippy toes. Don't let him tap out and bring in homegirl. Don't let him tap out and Kylie come in, because she ain't playing. You ain't seen her in a while. She been in the gym.
Yeah, I ain't seen her in a minute, man.
She been doing crunches.
She quiet.
Cooking.
She been cooking. You know what I'm talking about? Sitting down probably with Killery, getting pointers.
Damn, man. Crazy. Yo, leave your contact information for the people, family.
1-800-Jabberwocky.
1-800.
Nah, money sign Phil Moreland. You know, like I said earlier, I have the bundles for anybody that's looking for multiple income streams to tap into. I have a workshop that I did. I put out 100 income streams. I have the Evolution Will Be Digitized, which is a workshop that I did with my brother Slice, my other brother Hafiz Crypto. We're getting into DeFi. We're getting into DAOs, NFTs. We're getting into all of the things, all things crypto, all things DeFi. You know what I'm talking about? All things metaverse. And I also have another one called Stream Chasers, Strive and Thrive. I did that in January, but the information is timeless. It's not, it doesn't, it's ahead of its time. So tap in, hit the Cash App, Phil Moreland. The bundle is $99, and send me your email and your Cash App, or you can hit me on my Instagram if you want more information, and I'll take care of you. All right. So love and light to the family, and I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, $ Blue Pillar 44 at Blue Pillar 44 IG. I think I'm out of jail now.
Yeah, I'm lit.
Pillar 44 at gmail.com. And this strong in, I'll be at Tassili's Raw Reality in the west end of Atlanta. They got something called the Natural Mystic Fair. I'll be there last year. Yeah, and I'll be speaking on Sunday about spiritual vampires. So it should be exciting. I got a lot to pull from.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those running around, man.
But try to pull up on you, Blue.
There's a lot of those running around, man.
I need to see that in person.
Yeah, I got balls for this one.
I already know.
Yeah, so, and shout out to Kibalon again, as I mentioned, the combos for the Cosmos. We are finishing that up. It's being prepped and prepared. You know what I mean? We not gonna disappoint like Donda or CLB. So trust and know that.
You're gonna bring it like Kendrick,
Metatron, like Kung Fu Kenny. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, with that being said, man, I want to thank the Red and the Blue. This is KTL, Know the Ledge Media, right here, collaborating with UGR, Black Magic 363. We still got 2,000 people in the chat. I want to thank all y'all for tuning in. This concludes our show, family. Make sure you continue to do the research. Go ahead, Blue.
You got all the questions out the way, because
we wrapping it up. We wrapping it up. I okay. You know, they pretty much repeating themselves, and you know, we gonna wrap it up. You know, end it on a high note. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if
goldwater.com as well. GOLDEWATER. Because if we're gonna be serious about our health, we gotta prioritize our health. For those of us to want to be on the other side of that line, you really gonna have to, you know, boggle down and do any and everything necessary to keep yourself outside of the scopes of them folks. You know what I'm saying? Because they getting petty, they criminalizing the coughs out here. You know what I mean? And yeah, like you don't even want to come up on a radar. So you know, what this is mandating is for you to have A1 immunity. So I'm all the way there for that. You know what I'm saying? Let us help you help yourself. Goldwater.com. GOLDEWATER. Get you some gummies and you ain't gotta think about it. You know what I'm talking about?
Shout out to Blue and Goldwater.com. And on that note, this brother Rich, Black Magic 363. We sound I forgot to make this announcement earlier. I guess I'll tell the family before I close out the show. So I'm going to be Red and Blue. I didn't even tell you. I might have told y'all this on the phone. I'm not sure. But I'm going to be releasing a music album this year, Black Friday. Not me rapping or nothing like that. But it's gonna be like, you know how like DJ Khaled got his album and he got artists featured on it. Yeah, it's gonna be like that. Nah, Rich ain't rapping or singing or nothing like that. But I'm gonna have a plethora of artists on it, doing their thing, and it's gonna be. I already got the track with Red and Blue. We just gotta lay it down.
On the two.
How many of y'all want to see Cambada in Daylight? Y'all know y'all gonna get Cambada in Daylight on my album. Now hold on, I need you to think about that. Yeah, drop that bomb. I need you to really think about that. They gonna get Cambada in Daylight on the album. You know what that's going to do to the cosmos and to the dimensions and to the atmosphere and all of that?
Now that's crazy.
Like,
we need a conscious music takeover. I mean, I'm so sincere.
The name of it right now, I think I'm running with. You know how Biggie was Life After Death?
Facts.
Life After Dath. DAATH. Life After Dath.
Halfway.
I like that.
It's Life After Dath. Life After
Dath. That's fire.
Yeah, Life After Dath. And if y'all know what Dath represents on the tree of life, how would life be after that? That's what this album is going to sound like.
That's a dark ass album right there,
it's
bro.
It's dark, but it's knowledge. It's dark light. You know,
right? Dark light.
That's dark light. It's dark light consciousness. Yeah, it's that ultraviolet beam. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is. So stay tuned for that, family. I forgot to tell y'all that in the beginning of the show, but yeah, I'm coming with the first single. You know, I work closely with Cam. The first single is gonna be with Cambada. We're gonna premiere that before September's out. I'm gonna get that to the people. So the first single is gonna be dropping with Cambada, but that album, Life After Dath, coming Black Friday this year. I'm releasing 2 albums in the same year. I'm on some DMX shit. I'm working, y'all.
That's right.
I'm working. It's the second album in the same year. I'm working, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Cook, my naga, cook.
Yeah, I'm cooking. Yo, Blue, when you get in town, you gotta let us know. So Cam said he want to be in the studio too when we lay that down. They got this track, him in Red, that's epic. It sounds like not Game of Thrones. What's the other one? What's the name? Gladiator. It sounds like some Gladiator shit. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's epic. It's cinematic. It's cinematic. It's
very cinematic.
Very, very cinematic.
What Donda needed to be. Yeah. It's gonna be that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So stay tuned for that, family. But with that being said, man, check out Red Pill. He got the bundle sale going on. Blue Pill with the Gold Water. everything else everybody else got going on, family. We in some serious times. Make sure you're into serious things at this moment, and make sure you understand that we come from serious at this moment. So with that being said, we get out here, family. Peace. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.